What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Monday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. Thanks for making us a part of your start. Hopefully you had a great weekend, whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online at our website, sportstalk1051.com, WYYradio.com. You got the app. Download it, take it on the go, your smart devices, smart speakers like your Alexa devices, and, of course, the video stream up and rolling, Man Cave TV on YouTube. Don't forget to click that bell, that subscribe, follow button over there. But, again, hopefully you had an awesome weekend, and you're ready to hit up not only a brand-new work week, but a brand-new month, June 1st. What do we have on the docket for us here this morning? Lots of Brewers talk here as the Brewers take another series, this time against the Houston Astros, winning 2 out of 3. Their win on Friday in extra innings, falling on Saturday. And then the Miz Kid does it again yesterday. Fantastic outing for Jacob Mizorowski to help lead the Brewers to a 2-0 victory. Brewers taking 2 out of 3 to win another series, and just a fantastic month of May. I mean, just absolutely. You look at, you look at what they did in the month of May here. They open it up by taking 2 out of 3 against the Nationals. They split the 2-game series against the Cardinals. They swept the Yankees. They take 2 out of 3 against the Padres, nearly sweeping them. They take 2 out of 3 against the Twins. They sweep the Cubs. They fall the Dodgers, sweep the Cardinals, and take 2 out of 3 against the Astros. So really the only hiccup was that Dodger series, winning just 1 out of 3 in that one. But overall, I don't think we could complain too much about the month of May here for the Brewers. And they increase their division lead as they open up the month of June. 4.5 games over the Cardinals, 5 games ahead of the Pirates and the Cubbies, 6 games ahead of the Reds. But every single team still in the National League Central above 500 as we enter a brand new month for this summer. So we'll talk, again, plenty of Brewers here. We got to talk more about Jacob Mizorowski. If it wasn't for Christopher Sanchez, that we might be talking more about this historic, epic month from Jacob Mizorowski. Oh, well, we'll still talk about it. I guess I'm kind of referring to maybe from a national perspective. But, man, .23 ERA for Jacob Mizorowski, 5-0, just giving up 1 earned run over the entire month of May. But wow. So we'll talk plenty of baseball. Speaking of which, we got to give a shout out to UW Milwaukee baseball. So they're winning their first couple games. They did fall late last night, early this morning, I should say. Technically, it was after midnight. So in a rematch against Auburn, they did fall 8-1, but they're back at it tonight at 5 o'clock in a win in advance or lose and go home situation. So we got to give an acknowledgement to UW Milwaukee for baseball too. So that just it popped up in there, and I'm like, oh, I got to mention that too. So it's been kind of fun to follow a little UW Milwaukee baseball too. But so yeah, plenty of baseball chats coming your way here this morning. So we'll throw that in there. We got some finals set for both the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. So the Spurs taking Game 7 against the Thunder this past weekend, which means we've got Knicks versus Spurs in a rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals. That first game is going to be on Wednesday as the Knicks will visit the Spurs. And then for the Stanley Cup Finals, we've got Game 1 in action tomorrow. The Golden Knights taking on the Hurricanes. So we're starting to wrap up those 2 seasons. So, yeah, we'll throw a little bit of that in there. We are going to kick off today, since it is June 1st. All right. Every day up until July 3rd. Every day up until July 3rd. 10. All right. 10 USA America sports moments. It'll equal 250. The top 250 American sports moments in honor of Team USA, Team America's birthday coming up next month. Planned it out. So each weekday, if we do 10, it'll conclude on July 3rd. So I've got my first 10. Now, I'm not ranking them because that might be a little too difficult to do, and I don't want to upset too many people. I'm sure I'll upset some people for not having so-and-so or this and 250. But it's a combination of athletes, games, moments, that sort of thing. And I'll just kind of, I think it's best to probably kick it off today, kind of looking at, well, the leagues, right? Some of the leagues, some of the organizations, or non-leagues, we'll say, some of the leagues that got their starts in America. So top 10 coming your, or I should say top 10, the first 10 coming your way here. And we're going to do 10 each weekday up until July 3rd. So that's coming up a little bit later on. Speaking of a little bit later on, we'll catch up with the Eau Claire Express for our Express chat that we'll be doing every Monday. Pete Knutson will be joining the program just shortly after 9 o'clock. The Express picking up a victory yesterday against Thunder Bay at Carson Park. 4-0 victory for the Express. They'll be back at it tonight, taking on Thunder Bay, then a quick trip to Madison, and then they'll be back on Wednesday, taking on Madison, then another quick road trip. I should say not necessarily quick, but 6 games on the road, and then they'll be back home middle part of next week. But one game at a time, right? So we got Thunder Bay at home at Carson Park tonight. It is a VFW Post 305 best and worst of the weekend. So what was the best? What was the worst from the weekend for you? Also, we'll do some Glory Days brought to you by Summer Jam in Eau Claire and that. And don't forget now, too, we're at that time of the year. If you want to do kind of a Weekend Warrior shout-outs, we're looking at let's take away from like high school and college. We want to highlight some of the rec sports or some of the youth sports. If you had a good weekend or a fun weekend, you want to do a little Weekend Warrior shout-out, send those on over too. All right, text it on over to that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or you could join in on the Section 105 chat. So that's kind of your game plan for us this morning. So that's where we're at. And whatever else we kind of sometimes get off topic and get on a little bit of a tangent. We'll see where that leads us and such. So, but let's get things going here. We'll begin it with the leadoff, talking some baseball with the Brewers taking 2 out of 3 against the Astros. We'll recap that series and look ahead to a 4-game series starting tonight with the Brewers taking on the Giants. We're going to talk about Jacob Mizorowski. Has the clock hit midnight on Brandon Sproat? Pat Murphy. Kind of some comments about Brandon Sproat here that doesn't necessarily bode well for maybe him right now in the immediate future and that. And then you kind of look at the starting pitching probables, kind of gives maybe a little bit of a hint of where this is going to be going, or maybe just a big unknown at this point too. But we'll talk plenty of baseball, and then Jacob Mizorowski. Man, oh man, we gotta. I say it every time, or I've said it every time after the month of May, or after every game he has started and won or played in the month of May. Running out of things, running out of words, running out of phrases to describe what we're seeing from the Miz kids. So, but we'll try our best to kind of come up with some new stuff, if you will. But all right, let's get things going here this morning. We'll talk some baseball. We'll talk some Brewers baseball to open it up, recapping another series win and looking ahead to a new month with a 4-game series against the Giants starting tonight. We'll be right back, and then we'll get things going on the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Summer is here, and that means it's time to get outdoors, to make some memories, and to be ready for whatever the season brings. That's where Tilden Gun comes in. Whether you are gearing up for target practice, heading to the range, or preparing for your next outdoor adventure, Tilden Gun has the selection and expertise to help get you set up right. From firearms and ammunition to accessories and safety gear, they got everything that you need, all backed by a knowledgeable service that you can trust. At Tilden Gun, it's not just about what you buy, it's about making sure that you feel confident, informed, and ready every single time that you head on out. So this summer, don't just enjoy the outdoors. Be prepared for it. Stop by Tilden Gun today and see why they are a trusted name for shooters and outdoor enthusiasts alike. All right, let's get things going here on the leadoff. Let's recap a pretty solid weekend for the Brew Crew. Going back to Friday nights in their win against the Houston Astros. Took extra innings, but the Brew Crew were able to get it done in the 10th. Coleman Crow getting the start for the Brewers in this game. He ended up going 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, including a dinger. Only striking out 1, did issue a couple of walks. But after that, the bullpen kind of locking things down, not allowing a earned run. Should note Coleman Crow, 4 runs, but 2 of them earned. But after that, bullpen getting it done and just kind of hanging around a little bit for the Brewers offense. You had David Hamilton picking up his first home run of the season, and then Jackson Cheerio picking up a home run. But Brewers chip it away, and they were able to get that go-ahead run across in the top of the 10th, a little bit of yelly speed there, and holding on to victory. Trevor McGill picking up his 7th save on the season. Kind of feels like maybe Uribe McGill have, at least as of late, maybe flip-flopped. It was Trevor McGill as the closer, then he was struggling a little bit, then it was Uribe, and now it maybe feels like it's back to Trevor McGill, but he picked up his 7th save. Uribe gets credited with the win. And then we're going to talk more about this Saturday game here in just a little bit, but a 9-2 victory for the Astros, even after the Brewers jumped out to a 1-0 lead thanks to a Contreras RBI double. But Brandon Sproat picking up the loss, his 4th loss of the season. He went 4 1/3, 6 hits, 5 earned runs. No walks, but 4 Ks in the contest. And the Brewers just not able to really get anything going, just 6 total hits for the Crew. The Astros putting up 9 with 12 hits, 3 in the 2nd, 3 in the 5th, and 3 in the 8th. So, but yesterday in the final start for the month of May for Jacob Misiorowski, we've talked a lot about his month of May in that, and what did we have in store, or what were we going to get in store from Jacob Misiorowski? And, well, it was maybe, dare I say, typical Jacob Misiorowski at this point. 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 8 Ks. Picking up his 6th win of the season to improve to 6-2. Lowering that ERA to a 1.65 on the season. Uribe getting the hold, and Trevor McGill getting his 8th save on the season. Jacob Misiorowski, again, ending the month of May in 6 games, 5-0 with a .23 ERA, 57 strikeouts, no home runs. Just, again, that 1 earned run, only 6 walks issued as well. If it wasn't for Christopher Sanchez and the Phillies and him not allowing a single earned run in the month of May, Jacob Misiorowski would probably be getting a little bit more of the national attention and talk. But nonetheless, still an amazing, a fantastic, an insane month of May. And the thing is, too, he never went over 100 pitches this month. Even like 7 innings yesterday, 88 pitches. 7 innings against the Cardinals, 96. 7 innings back in the 13th against the Padres, the one he should have a win, 93. I mean, the command, the control that Misiorowski has displayed this season has been Chef's kiss. Mwah. Amazing, awesome, wonderful, spectacular. Biggest improvements, or one of his biggest improvements so far this year. Ace, 100%. Dude is, if there was an all-star on this team, I think there's a couple. I think there's a few, but Jacob Izarowski right now is an all-star on this team. Clear cut, number one. Terang, Contreras, throw those guys in there too. But Jacob Izarowski, yes. Kyle Harrison too. Can make an argument. Definitely I can make an argument for him. But Jacob Izarowski, boom, solidified ace. Superstar right now? Heck yeah. I mean, the guy is just, opponent's batting average against him in the month of May too, a meager 109. Whip, .52. He has just been amazing to watch this year. To see the growth, to see the dominance continue to get better, continue to grow. And for a younger kid too, kind of humble. Yeah, he gets excited. He gets pumped up on the mound, and I know some people have issues with that, but I guess I don't. He's 24. It's a kid's game. Be excited when you make a good play. Be excited when you make a big play. Afterwards, he was asked about his .23 ERA. He simply said, I mean, that's decent. So, Bowers, even saying, I'm not sure he had his best fastball, but I mean, with stuff like his, I'm not having his best stuff. Him not having his best stuff is better than most guys in the league. It's kind of like Aaron Rodgers' quote, my worst is still some people's best. But Trevor McGill also saying yesterday, quote, dude has been out there being an absolute horse for us and eating 6+ innings every time he goes out there. By the way, Bowers, sweet diving catch in that game. Playing in left field too. So, but according to MLB researcher Sarah Langs, there have been 20 instances since at least 1900 of a pitcher allowing one or no runs in a calendar month with at least 30 innings pitched. Mizorowski and Sanchez are the only ones to do it in the same month in the same year. And they're in the same league. National League, I know Brandon mentioned it as his cream of the crop on Friday, but National League pitchers, starting pitchers right now, unbelievable. There's some good ones here, but they're the tops, at least in the month of May, is definitely Sanchez and Mizorowski. But the continued growth, the continued bar, raising of the bar that Mizorowski is setting right now is just unbelievable. I mean, he's setting it very, very high. It's like, man, again, you're kind of running out of things to say and words and to describe it and all that stuff. But yeah, it's awesome, completely awesome. So Brewers, again, finished the month of May on a high note. The only low point, dropping a series to the Dodgers, winning just 1 of 2. But you talk about sweeps and series wins, is put the Brewers in a nice position in the standings. If you're looking at that as we open up the month of June, 4.5 games up against the Cardinals. But still, everybody in the NL Central, I mean, winning record far from. I hope nobody's really kind of like saying Dunzo or anything like that. But for what it's worth, MLB.com and their latest power rankings have the Brewers as number 3, moving up 1 spot, but 2 National League teams ahead of them. That's the Braves and that's the Dodgers. But the Brewers coming in, and it says even with all those good teams in the NL Central, the Brewers have 58% odds to win the NL Central. Here's your reminder. And people do seem to legitimately forget this, that if they win the division, they will do so for the 4th consecutive season and for the 5th time in the past 6 seasons. Probably get a little too far ahead of ourselves right now, but you look at with where they're at, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility for that to happen. The Brewers with their 35 wins. Well, I mean that's third most in just the National League because Atlanta has 40, the Dodgers have 38, but Brewers would be fifth most because Tampa Bay, seventh most because Tampa Bay and New York are tied with 36 wins apiece. But in terms of a winning percentage, 625, that would put them ahead of the Yankees. So, but Brewers back at it tonight. No rest for the weary, even though they were down south in Houston. They're going to be back at it tonight to begin a 4-game series against the San Francisco Giants. We'll take a look at that, but before that, I do want to talk a little bit about Brandon Sproat and his time maybe kind of running out on Brandon Sproat. Not great comments from Pat Murphy surrounding Brandon Sproat. So we'll tell you what he had to say. Plus, Quinn Priester, not a great update on Quinn Priester either. So get you some updates surrounding some pitching and such. We got to take a quick break, though, but we'll be back with plenty more coming up after these few words. Summer is almost here, or summer is here, actually. So that means you're probably starting to think about maybe some family road trips, some family vacations and such, which, yeah, I woke up this morning thinking about that. Speaking of which, first of all, let me finish this. That means it's time to hit the road to something that you love. At Toyston Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Are you looking for power? How about comfort or reliability? Hey, they've got it all backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure that you are riding in style this summer. Toys Ford, Chippewa Falls, that's where your next journey begins. I got to come up with a list. Kid's going to be 9 in a couple weeks. We haven't really done like a big family vacation. Is that like the good age to start? I was like, I got to figure out somewhere where to go. Joe, that's really cool because Joe on our video stream right now said that they're heading to Denver Wednesday night, going to Friday night's game out there. They're doing a stadium tour, trying to get to every stadium and watch the Crew. So that's awesome. That's fantastic. I'd love to be able to do something like that. Stadium tour? Heck yeah. That'd be so cool. So cool. I'm curious if there's anybody out there, baseball, football, I don't care, basketball, hockey, soccer, don't matter. How many stadiums have you been to? I've only been to if we're just keeping it pro, 1, 2, 4. I've only been to 4. I gotta get going here, man. I gotta knock some off that bucket list. For sure I gotta. So, but all right. Let's talk some more baseball here, shall we? Brandon Sproat, maybe times we're kind of wondering a little bit, is pressure kind of building with him and some of his starts? Been a little inconsistent, been a little down at certain points. And, well, after Saturday's game, not a great backing from Pat Murphy. Pat Murphy has said stuff like this similar to other players in the past, but Sproat didn't get past the 5th inning for the 3rd straight starts and the 5th time in his last 6 outings. Pat Murphy afterwards said, quote, "We're not going to tolerate too many duds like this. That's for sure. If he's not going to step up, we're trying to win. We're not rebuilding." Tough love. We talked about it with Pat Murphy a lot, right? Tough love at times. Definitely has his players' backs, but he's not afraid to give a little tough love when tough love is needed. Pat Murphy went on to say he's done some really, really good stuff, so it's not like he's not going to get another chance. It's just he took a step back. I thought he took a step back today. Yeah, and Murphy later on also said too, this was actually before the game Saturday, saying his stuff is really, really good. He's shown so many flashes of being really good, and that's why it's worth sticking with him, because when he gets really good, that gives us another solid starter. He said that he's really conscious about being good. That's a huge thing. He's open. He wants to listen. When Clemens was in here yesterday, Roger Clemens, he came in and made himself part of it. It was a beautiful thing. Sproat is a guy who is just getting started. I have no doubt he is going to be good. But feels like at this point in time, maybe too with guys coming back soon, like a Brandon Woodruff, or whenever Logan Henderson comes back. You got Robert Gasser. Coleman Crow obviously just made another start the other day. You got to play your best 5. You got to play your 5 starters. They got to be your best ones, right? Especially with a team in first place with big aspirations, big goals. You got to play your best 5. And right now, Brandon Sproat is not part of your best 5. It's just not. Whether that's adding another starter or maybe going, since you have a unique ability with your bullpen with guys that can give you multiple innings. Maybe that's an option because Shane Drone is scheduled as a probable starter for one of these games coming up against the Giants. Possibly. It'll be interesting this week to see how it all plays out. One pitcher who won't be a part of that conversation, though, is going to be Quinn Priester, at least in the immediate future, because, well, things have not been going really well at AAA Nashville for Quinn Priester. So they have shifted his rehab assignment to the team's complex in Arizona. Doctors apparently continue to believe that for now he does not require surgery to relieve the symptoms of his thoracic outlet syndrome, which is a condition, reminder, that in which the nerves running down his neck and into his arm and torso are compressed. A surgery would require removal of his first rib and would end his season. It's given me flashbacks to Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns' second year, when he came in after a solid year, kind of mostly from the bullpen and such, spot starts here. But that second year, he was not good. He really struggled. And he was struggling even in minor leagues, and they shifted it to Arizona. And then we know the rest of the story about Corbin Burns. You hope that's kind of the same outlook here for Quinn Priester, because obviously the guy has some good stuff. You don't just win double-digit games by happy accident like you did last year. So hopefully it's something that they can figure out. But I don't know what's going to happen here. If it doesn't pan out in Arizona at the complex, if they don't see improvement, I do wonder if the next step is surgery. But Pat Murphy said, we just felt like he's not getting anywhere in AAA right now. He's spinning his wheels a little bit, trying to find himself. We were wishful thinking when we thought he could go to AAA and just get it back. But it has not been good. In his 6 rehab starts, he has been charged with 24 runs on 19 hits and 17 walks in 10 innings. In 2 of those outings, he couldn't make it out of the first inning. Quinn Priester did agree with it as well with the move. He said, yeah, that's better. We'll just make sure that he's progressing. Or Murphy said, we'll just make sure that he's progressing the way we want. So who's going to who do you think are going to be the top 5 pitchers for the Brewers when we maybe enter the month of July? I think Woodruff's going to be in there. Obviously, The Miz, Kyle Harrison, Logan Henderson. Then you got that 5th spot there. Could it be a bullpen type of thing? Maybe it's Robert Gasser. But other names that maybe potentially could be called up could be one of those position players. Rob Zazrinski. I can never say his last name, so I apologize. Rob Z. Okay? I don't know why I can't say his last name, so don't even try to correct me. But you guys know who I'm talking about. Rob Z. All right, he joined the big league club finally from the injured list on Sunday. And he, coming back from injury, he had a lot of glowing reports about some of the youngsters down in Nashville, including Cooper Pratt and Jet Williams and Luis Lara. Rob said about Cooper Pratt, I've only seen him absolutely mashing, and he's a really good shortstop. Luis Lara, Rob said, I haven't seen him play before this year, but he's one of the toughest outs I've ever seen in AAA. He works the count, and even if you get him out, he's going to take you 6 pitches, or it's going to take a barrel to the warning track or something. And I got to admit, I'm getting worried about my guy, Sal Frelick, because the way Lara is playing, if you call him up, he plays. You don't call him up and he's going to sit on the bench. And right now, when you look at the outfield, I'm worried about my guy, Sal Frelick, because in his last 20 ABs, he's only hitting 150 and an on base of a 182. So far this season, 214 on base, 284 OPS of 579. If they call up Lara, I wonder if Sal's going to be the guy that's going to get some play time cut. I'm worried. And I know Garrett Mitchell, you kind of look at his numbers here too. On the season, he's 230, 350 on base, 715 OPS though. And as of late, in his last 21 at-bats, 286 on base, 400, slugging 476. Salvatore, Sally baby. Got to pick it up, man. We got to get more production from Sal at the plate. One of my favorite dudes, one of my favorite players, my guy. But he's definitely got to get it going more at the plate. He's got to get consistent. We need that guy at the bottom of the lineup. He's too talented. Got to get him on the base paths. So I'm worried. I'm really worried. But maybe we're going to get some call-ups here, especially on that left side of the infield. As there's an interesting write-up from Adam McCulvey about this too. As it says, if the Brewers were to call up Pratt, Williams, or Lara at some point, it would almost certainly be with the intention to play them regularly. And the big league Brewers do happen to have room for improvement at those positions. Milwaukee is below average in Baseball Reference wins above replacements at shortstop, third base, and right field. Even though shortstop Joey Ortiz and Sal Frelick, those struggling to produce at the plate, provide elite defense. I'm worried about Sal. But Jet and Cooper, I mean, if they continue to perform like they're doing down in AAA, force the team to call you up, especially when you're not getting a ton of offensive production from the left side of the infield. Got to make the move. All right, we got to take a quick break, and we'll wrap up the first hour here. Continue to send me your VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. What's your best? What's your worst from the weekend? Also, a little Weekend Warrior shout-outs, if you want to give some Weekend Warrior shout-outs to any youth teams or maybe some of your rec teams if you're adults. Trying to focus maybe like K through 8. No offense to the high school or colleges, but we usually talk about them all the time in local sports roundup. So want to give a little shout out to Weekend Warriors and such. So if you want to do that, I know we had a lot of baseball tournaments this past weekend for the kiddos. Send those on over, or maybe some slow pitch softball or whatever. All right, Weekend Warriors shout outs. Text them on over as well. Coming up next hour, too, I'm going to kick off our 250. The top 250 USA sports moments. Going to do 250 of these, 10 each weekday leading up to July 3rd, the day before America's 250th birthday. So 250 sports moments. It was a lot. Obviously a lot. It's easy right away, but then you kind of get close to that 250, and you're like, you're either scrambling or you're really trying to make some tough decisions. But to kick it off, I think it's only appropriate we kind of take a look at the leagues, right? Kind of start there, but we'll do that next hour. So, all right, quick break as we start to wrap up the first hour. We'll be right back after these few words. Sunshine road trips, summer adventures, they are calling. Is your vehicle ready at AJM Automotive in Eau Claire? They'll make sure that you hit the road with confidence, from AC checks and oil changes to brakes and full inspections. AJM Automotive has you covered before the heat kicks in. With 2 convenient Eau Claire locations, expert service is always just around the corner. Don't let car trouble slow down your summer plans. Schedule your appointment today by visiting ajmautomotiveservices.com. AJM Automotive, keeping you cool, safe, and road trip ready all summer long. And as we say a lot with AJM Automotive, they're kind of like they're do it all. I need some help with the riding lawnmower. They're helping me out. They can even take care of that. All right, small engines, mowers. Okay, it's that time of year. It's June 1st, by the way. If you participated in No Mow May, start to mow. And still, my neighbor, I don't know why. It's a new neighbor, too. Old neighbor, didn't mow. This one, doesn't mow either. So, go mow. All right. The, 3-foot tall weeds up against my fence, not cool. Go mow. But anyways, it's not Grind My Gears Tuesday yet. But still, if you need help with that lawnmower, too, AJM Automotive, they can help you out because they're helping me out for sure. No question about it. Speaking of road trips, C-Bomb says that we've got MLB 8 stadiums. Or wait, what does this say? MLB, he's been to 8 stadiums. What's waste? Worst stadium? Or was it the best away stadium? Yankee Stadium? I think you're supposed to say best away stadium, Yankee Stadium. NFL, 3 stadiums. Coolest away stadium, unfortunately, U.S. Bank. Obviously, my favorite sport is the NFL. But if I had to do a stadium tour, it would be for Major League Baseball. I don't care to go anywhere but Green Bay for football. Let me watch the Brewers at every stadium, and that would be my bucket list item. Yeah, that would be. I'd probably do the same thing. I'm with you, C-Bomb. I would love to go on a Major League Baseball stadium tour. Watching, like what Joe is on our video chats, that would be awesome. I would rather do that, I think, than go to a I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I would rather do baseball, Major League Baseball stadium, and then instead of NFL, if I had to choose between the two, I think I'd have more fun with that one. Just my opinion, but yeah, I gotta get to double digits though. I gotta do more of that. Speaking of baseball, tonight begins a 4-game series for the Brewers taking on the Giants. So Shane Rowan is going to get the start here for the Crew. Now, he has been very effective for the Brewers coming out of the pen. Looking at his numbers so far, he has started 1 game. He did start 1 game. It was back on April 8th against Boston, and ironically, that was probably his worst game. He went 2 2/3, giving up 3 earned runs, did issue 4 walks in that contest. But we'll see, maybe after coming out of the pen here and giving them some length in a lot of these games, maybe a little bit more confidence. That was a long time ago, back on April 8th when he got that start. So you got to wonder, maybe today is going to be another kind of bullpen option type of day when you've got a Shane Drone, when you've got a Chad Patrick, when you've got Aaron Ashby, DL Hall, Rob, those guys that can give you some length. That sure seems to be the case here. And maybe a little bit of an advantage, too, because Giants hitters haven't gone up against him. On the flip side, you got Lando Roop going for the Giants. He is 5-5 in 11 games so far this year. He is coming off of a loss against the Diamondbacks, but he only gave up 2 earned runs and struck out 7 in 5 innings in that contest. And he got a little bit of experience with Brewers hitters going up against him. Contreras in 4 career at-bats is 3 for 4. Frelick, 5 career at-bats, 200. Terang, 6 career at-bats, 167. Bowers, actually, 4 career at-bats is hitting 500 against him. So a little bit of experience with that. But I think this, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the first 4-game series for the Brewers this year, too. So, yeah. Get to see old friend Willie Adames coming back to Milwaukee. He just hit a home run last night against Colorado, or yesterday against Colorado. So far this year, 243, 707 OPS, 8 home runs for Willie Adames. All right, we'll talk more Brewers. We're running out of time, though. Plenty more baseball talk to get to in the next couple hours from now. Send me your VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. I think we had Pete a little bit earlier saying best UW Milwaukee baseball. Yep, hopefully they can beat Auburn again tonight to stay alive in a do-or-die game. Worst, Chet Holmgren in Game 7. Yeah, a lot of talk about Chet Holmgren right now after that series against the Spurs. So we'll get I got a couple more texts to get to here, but what's C-Bomb says you could rank the stadiums as well as their concessions. I want to do like a tailgate tour. Tailgate parties, tailgates, tours. Nobody will top Miller Park. It will never be AmFam Field for me. I will say Cincinnati was pretty cool. Anaheim was the most dated. Surveyor's been to 9 stadiums: Metrodome, Target Field, Target Center. Oh, I forgot about that. Target Center, yeah. Lambeau, Miller / AmFam, Pfizer Forum, Soldier Field, United Center, Angels Stadium. All right. One in. Plenty more to go. News updates. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Second hour kicking off right now on this Monday morning of June 1st. Thanks for hanging out with us, no matter where you're listening to us or where you're listening to us from or how you are listening to us. We spent the first hour talking lots of baseball, lots of Brewers baseball. Jacob Mizorowski with another win, completing an epic month of May, going 5-0 in 6 games, .23 ERA. Brewers with an epic month of May themselves, currently holding a 4.5-game lead over the Cardinals for first place in the NL Central. Brew Crew back at it tonight, back at the friendly confines of AmFam Field, where they will begin a 4-game series against the San Francisco Giants. So, first pitch for tonight's game, 6:40. Coverage begins at about 35 minutes prior, so you're looking at about 6:05 on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. All the way in Edgar this morning, huh, Surveyor? Nice. Good to know. Thanks for the feedback there. I like it. Coming up in about, let's say, 10 minutes or so, I'm going to kick off a series that I've been planning here for a while now, but with America turning 250 years old next month. A lot of people are doing your 250 type of content stuff. Well, I'm doing 250 moments in sports, American moments in sports. So each weekday, I'll be doing 10 moments, not ranking them, because that's going to be a little too hard. But 10 moments each weekday that'll lead up to a total of 250. I call it the top 250 moments in American sports. Could be players, could be athletes, could be games, could be teams, iconic teams, or leagues. It's pretty open-ended. So, yes, there's going to be the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team is going to be on this list. There's going to be athletes like Michael Jordan's going to be on this list, right? Essentially, it boils down to this, how I kind of defined it. If you had to tell the history of American sports, what would you include in it? Who would you include in it? And that's kind of the basis of it all. So, again, I'm not ranking them. I'm not saying this is the best or this is like 250. Not doing that. But that'll kick off here in about 10 minutes or so. And if you miss any of it, it will be up in the Man Cave podcast. All right, Man Cave podcast. So if you miss it, I'll post it up on there. But that'll be coming up, and we'll kick it off in about 10 minutes or so. So, if we have any Bears fans listening, I really want to know what's your personal thoughts on this whole stadium thing, because earlier this morning I saw Ian Rappaport tweet out that the Illinois House ended its legislative session early this morning. Man, that was like 6 o'clock and they were already, early stuff. Without final passage of a bill to support a Bear stadium in Illinois. Statement from the team: we will finalize our evaluation of both Arlington Heights and Hammond and remain on the late spring, early summer timeline that we have previously communicated. We'll provide an update when we have a decision to share. So I'm really curious. Bears, if you're a Bears fan, does this matter to you where their stadium's at? Does it matter if it's going to be in Indiana? Does that matter to you? Does it bug you? It bugged me if Green Bay moved out of if the Packers moved out of Green Bay, even if it was in Milwaukee. But other teams obviously don't play. Like the Jets, Giants are a good one. The 49ers, Cowboys. But this is the Bears. Does it? I'm kind of curious to hear from a Bears fan if it really kind of bugs them that much, or is it getting a little bit over, I don't know, blown up a little bit. But, we've got the NBA Finals with the Spurs winning Game 7 over the Thunder, so they advance to take on the Knicks in a rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals. And, hey, with them being back on NBC, that series was originally on NBC too, so there you have it. But Spurs versus Knicks, that's going to start Wednesday. Stanley Cup Finals will start tomorrow, so we'll do picks for that tomorrow. But it's Carolina taking on Vegas, the Hurricanes and the Golden Knights. So we're starting to wrap up on those seasons. And maybe for an NBA perspective, maybe closer to a decision on one Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. That's probably where Bucks fans are kind of focusing on with basketball and such. So also coming up just under 2 hours from now, we're going to catch up with the Eau Claire Express for our Monday Express chats. So Pete Knutson will be joining us around 9 o'clock as the Express now 1 week into their season. They'll be back at home tonight taking on Thunder Bay. They picked up a win against Thunder Bay at Carson Park yesterday afternoon, looking to grab another win before they head to Madison tomorrow. So send me your VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekends. You can text those on over to the Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912 or join in on the Section 105 chat room with the crew over there, and you can make your picks with that. We'll do a little Glory Days as well, and I know this is a big week in local sports with some playoff baseball, playoff high school baseball, and playoff softball continuing to roll along too. So starting to wrap up some of the prep sports out there too. So, by the way, going back to a little Brewers, in case you're just wondering what's the pitching probable. So we know Shane Drone's getting the start tonight for the Brewers. I would imagine it's going to be maybe 1 turn, 2 turns. They'd probably like to have 2 turns through the rotation with Shane Drone, but after that, your probables, all right, your probables for the for the upcoming series for the Giants, there's a couple TBDs, so they're a little bit up in the air at this point in time here for the Brewers, because again, got a little bit of a mixture of injuries. We got Kyle Harrison that's going to get a start tomorrow for the Brewers, but then kind of up in the air. Yeah, Shane Drone today, Kyle Harrison tomorrow, TBA Wednesday, TBA Thursday. Maybe a couple bullpen starts mixed in there. I'm not quite sure. But they'll figure it out. If there's one thing that I have confidence in when it comes to the Brewers, they'll figure out the pitching thing. They've got some flexibility where they can figure this thing out. Maybe a Robert Gasser. I'd have to see when was his last start in AAA. Maybe it's another call-up for him. Maybe getting closer to a Brandon Woodruff. I don't know if they'll necessarily put him in right away. I think they'd maybe want to have a rehab start for him, but I could be completely off on that too. But let's take it a game by game, right? Let's focus on let's take the Pat Murphy mindset. Pat Murphy outlook, 1 game at a time. Worry about today, we'll worry about tomorrow. Worry about today. Shane Drone on the mound today. Shane Drone has been a dude who has been really good so far out of the pen. After that first appearance where it was a start against Boston, he's been really good after that. Month of May, Shane Drone in 7 games. 1.72 ERA, 19 strikeouts, just 3 walks total. 2 of them came in a game against the Dodgers. Those 3 walks, put it in perspective, his first game that start against Boston, he had 4 walks in that game alone. So he has been playing really, really well and has been a part of that bullpen that has been playing some awesome baseball here as of late too. Or maybe Chad Patrick won't be available for today's game, and he's going to get one of those starts. That's a very good possibility too. All right. Tell you what, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to switch gears, and we're going to kick off our top 250. The first 10 Again, not ranking them, but it's the first 10. 250 American sports moments. If you had to tell the history of sports in America for the last 250 years, these are the 250 moments, according to me. And we got to start at the basis. We got to start at the base. We got to start at the beginning of all this. And we're going to look at some of the leagues. All right. So let's take our first break, and then we're going to jump right into that. We'll be back after these quick words. This past weekend it was a gorgeous weekend to be hanging out outside. And if you're like, man, I was stuck, I was kind of bored, I wasn't doing anything, I don't know where to go. Well, next time, this Saturday, like if the weather's nice and such, hang out at the VFW Post 305 because every summer Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m., they've got live music happy hours on the patio. So you can hang out on that patio with that gorgeous view of the river. You can watch some of the resident raptors do a little hunting and fishing. You can grab a beverage and enjoy some great live music performed by many talented local musicians. The VFW Post 305 will be featuring food and drink specials. And, of course, the pups are allowed too. The four-legged friends are always welcome. So if you're like, I don't want to leave my dog at home, I want to have, bring them with. All right? Bring them with. 3 to 6 p.m., weather permitting, every summer Saturday at the VFW Post 305. And don't forget about their Father's Day buffet, Sunday, June 21st from 7 a.m. to noon. And right now, you can enter to win a Father's Day basket with every breakfast purchased between now and June 21st. We've got Mark saying here, NFL stadiums, including former stadiums that I have visited, besides Lambeau, Ford Field in Detroit, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, the original Orange Bowl in Miami, the previous Arizona Cardinal Stadium, whatever that was called, and 3 different Minnesota Viking stadiums, the old Metropolitan, the Metrodome, and the U.S. Bank Stadium. How about baseball stadiums, Mark? How many baseball stadiums have you been to Major League Baseball-wise? I'd be curious on that one. That would be a good kind of American top 250 tour, too. Man, too bad we didn't have like a big-time sponsor that could have sent us on a tailgate tour for 250 anniversary there. All right, let's kick off this series that we have been teasing for a little bit now, but with America, USA turning 250 years old next month. I have come up with 250 American sports moments. This is a combination of players, athletes, coaches, games, teams. It's got a little bit of everything. Essentially, it is how I viewed this was if you were going to tell the history, explain the history of sports in America for the last 250 years, you have to include these 250 things, moments, people, games, teams, that sort of thing. I'm sure I'm probably going to miss some. That's probably going to be a thing. But these were the ones after kind of doing some research and looking up and just using the old noggin that I came up with. And I think to kind of kick it all off, we got to start at the beginning for a lot of these sports because, well, that's where a lot of this started, right? And I'm talking about the leagues, the beginning of the leagues, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, that sort of, those leagues, right? And I've got 10 of them. I've got 10 because we're going to do 10 each weekday leading up to July 4th. It'll end on July 3rd. It worked out perfectly to do 10 each weekday up until July 4th. So let's kick it off, and we're going to take a look at the leagues because you cannot tell the story of American sports without the major pro leagues. Well, I shouldn't say just pro, but the major sports leagues out there. Let's start off with Major League Baseball. I mean, I think that deserves its honor, right? So in 1871, the National Association of Professional Baseball Players was established as the sport's first major league. 5 years later, in 1876, a Chicago businessman named William Hulbert formed the National League of Professional Baseball Clubs to replace the National Association, which he believed was mismanaged and corrupt. The National League had 8 original members: the Boston Red Stockings, now the Atlanta Braves, the Chicago White Stockings, now the Chicago Cubs, Cincinnati Red Stockings, Hartford Dark Blues, Louisville Grays, Mutual of New York, Philadelphia Athletics, and the St. Louis Brown Stockings. Then in 1901, we had the American League. Originally operating as a minor league, the American League was elevated to Major League status in 1901. Your first teams were the Baltimore Orioles, the Boston Americans, the Chicago White Stockings, the Cleveland Blues, Detroit Tigers. You got Philadelphia in there too, Washington Senators, and the Milwaukee Brewers for 1 year. Then they moved to St. Louis. But then the merger. That's 1903, the modern merger. Following a period of intense competition for players and fans, the NL and AL signed the national agreement in 1903. The agreement ended the, quote, baseball wars and established a unified governance system and led to the inaugural World Series that same year. I mean, you talk about America's game, America's pastime, Major League Baseball. We're going to be talking a lot as this series continues about games, teams, players. It all started with the National League first, getting started up, 1871, 1876. It's kind of back and forth and how the history books kind of acknowledge which was the first one. And then, obviously, the American League in 1901, and then the merger in 1903. A lot of that's the beginnings of baseball, of its players, of its iconic players, of its iconic history. I mean, you go through the lores of history, whether it's, Honus Wagner and Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig to Ken Griffey Jr., Nolan Ryan, Cy Young, Sandy Koufax, Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, all started in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So you can't tell the story about baseball in America without starting from the beginning with both the National League and the American League, and then the merger between the National League and the American League. And the same can be said about the NFL. The National Football League, although it wasn't called the National Football League at the beginning, but on August 20th in 1920, a meeting was held by representatives of the Akron Pros, the Canton Bulldogs, the Cleveland Indians, and the Dayton Triangles at the Jordan and Hupmobile Auto Showroom in Canton, Ohio. This meeting resulted in the making of the American Professional Football Conference, a group who, according to the Canton Evening Repository, intended to raise the standard of professional football in every way possible, to eliminate bidding for players between rival clubs, and to secure cooperation in the formation of schedules. A second meeting was held on September 17th of that same year, 1920, with representatives from teams within 4 states, Akron, Canton, Cleveland, and Dayton. We had the Hammond Pros and the Flyers from Indiana, the Rochester Jeffersons from New York, the Rock Island Independents, the Decatur Staleys, the Racines/Chicago Cardinals from Illinois. The league was renamed the American Professional Football Association. The league elected Jim Thorpe as its first president, and it consisted of 14 teams, with Buffalo, the Buffalo All-Americans, the Chicago Tigers, the Columbus Panhandles, and the Detroit Heralds joining the league during the first year. So that was the beginnings of the NFL, as we know it's now. But another big change happened with the merger in 1970, because there was this other league called the American Football League, the AFL. It was a major professional league that operated for 10 seasons from 1960 until 1970. They had teams that included the Boston Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas Texans, which are now the Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos, Houston Oilers, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Titans of New York, and the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders. It was on the evening of June 8th, 1966, the collaborators announced a merger agreement in New York. And we've got the NFL as we know it today, the NFC conference, AFC conference, all that good stuff. But that was the beginnings of the NFL, American football, American pro football. Because even at the beginning, the NFL, college football was kind of the main draw. And to kind of see over the last 100 years plus, see where the NFL is at right now is it's pretty amazing. We joke that whatever the NFL does, people eat it up, people buy it, they love it, whether it's streaming or rule changes or whatever, and we get upset about it, we complain about it, we still eat it up. And I don't know of another league, and we're going to talk about 8 more of these things. I don't know of another league that has grown so much in popularity, and it almost feels like they could do no wrong that would diminish the support from fans. We complain about it, but we still eat it up. We still eat it up like it's melting ice cream, and we're trying to hurry up and before it all turns into, liquid. It is maybe the most popular sport in America right now is American football. I don't think I'd argue that. Then we move to basketball, the NBA. The NBA was created on August 3rd, 1949 with the merger of the Basketball Association of America, the BAA, and the National Basketball League, the NBL. The league later adopted the BAA's history and considers its founding on June 6th of 1946 as its own. In 1976, the NBA and the American Basketball Association merged. The NBA began as the Basketball Association of America, as we mentioned, was founded, as they're saying, 1946, by owners of the major ice hockey arenas in northeastern and midwestern United States and Canada. Although there had been earlier attempts at professional basketball leagues, including the American Basketball League and the National Basketball League, the BAA was the first league to attempt to play primarily in large arenas in major cities. With several teams facing financial difficulties, the BAA and the NBL agreed to merge on August 3rd, 1949 to create the NBA. The original BAA franchises that helped launch the league in 1946 include the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, or New York Knickerbockers, the Philadelphia Warriors, now the Golden State Warriors, the Chicago Stags, defunct, Cleveland Rebels, defunct, Detroit Falcons, defunct, Pittsburgh Ironmen, defunct, Providence Steamrollers, defunct, St. Louis Bombers, defunct, Toronto Huskies, defunct, and Washington Capitals, defunct. I don't know, is it just me, but I feel like even football, baseball, and NBA team names back then were better than some that we get now. So when the NBL merged into the BAA in 1949 to officially form the NBA, the league expanded to 17 teams, including NBL teams that survived and still exist today. The Minneapolis Lakers, now the LA Lakers, the Rochester Royals, now the Sacramento Kings, the Fort Wayne Pistons, now the Detroit Pistons, the Syracuse Nationals, which are the Philadelphia 76ers, the Tri-City Blackhawks, now the Atlanta Hawks. And since we're talking the NBA, we got to throw the WNBA into this. You can't tell, especially right now with the WNBA, Caitlin Clark and the popularity of that sport. The WNBA has got to be a part of this. The creation of the WNBA was officially approved by the NBA Board of Governors on April 24th of 1996. It began with 8 teams: the Charlotte Sting, the Cleveland Rockers, the Houston Comets, the New York Liberty, the Los Angeles Sparks, the Phoenix Mercury, the Sacramento Monarchs, and the Utah Stars. It's not the first major women's professional basketball league in the United States, which was the defunct WBL, but the WNBA is the only league to receive the full backing of the NBA. The WNBA then began its first season on June 21st, 1997. The game featured the New York Liberty and the LA Sparks. Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo. Can't tell the history of American sports without the NCAA. The NCAA was officially founded on March 31st of 1906. It was originally established as the Intercollegiate Athletic Association of the United States, the IAAUS. Not as easy to say as NCAA. It was to regulate the rules of college sports and make them safer before officially adopting the name the National Collegiate Athletic Association in 1910. The NCAA dates its formation. Now, if you know your American history and a little bit if you're a President Theodore Roosevelt kind of, I was going to say nerd, but I don't think that's the right one. But if you know your President Theodore Roosevelt history, you probably already know this part. But the NCAA dates its formation to two White House conferences convened by President Teddy Roosevelt in the early 20th century in response to repeated injuries and deaths in college football, which had, quote, prompted many college and universities to discontinue the sport. Following those White House meetings and the reforms which had resulted, Chancellor Henry McCracken of New York University organized a meeting of 13 colleges and universities to initiate changes in football playing rules. At a follow-on meeting on December 28, 1905 at Murray Hill Hotel in New York City, 62 higher education institutions became charter members of the Intercollegiate Athletic Association of the United States. The IAAUS was officially established on March 31st, 1906, and then took its present name, the NCAA, in 1910. For several years, the NCAA was a discussion group and rules-making body, but in 1921, the first NCAA national championship was conducted. It was the National Collegiate Track and Field Championships. Think about the NCAA now, whether it's college basketball, college football, NCAA, one of the biggest impacts in American sports in the last 250, whether it's been positive stuff or negative stuff or stuff that's just like that has frustrated you. NCAA, you absolutely cannot tell the story about American sports in the last 250 years without mentioning the NCAA. And I can tell you that there's probably going to be more stuff about the NCAA. There's definitely going to be some college teams and some college players in the rest of our 250 moments. But the beginnings of the NCAA have to be a part of that. And I know there's a lot of discussions about dissolving the NCAA when it's like for football and such. But man, oh man, it's you got to start from the beginning. And that's how it all began. I'm throwing golf in here. So the PGA, the Professional Golfers Association of America, that was established on April 10th in 1916. But the genesis of the first all-professional golf body in the United States was sparked by a luncheon on January 17th in 1916, hosted by Rodman Wanamaker. I feel like people's names were even cooler back in the day. At Wanamaker's store on 9th Street and Broadway in New York, 60 attendees were invited by the Taplow Club, which was a business group within Wanamaker's store and led by professional Tom McNamara of Brookline, Massachusetts, an outstanding player and talented salesman who was keenly aware of the welfare of the club professional. McNamara pressed upon Wanamaker that it was a prime time to bring U.S. professionals together and that the publicity generated would be advantageous because Wanamaker was in a retail battle with A.G. Spalding and Brothers for the sale of golf balls. The response to creating such a body was positive, and additional meetings followed on April 10th, 1916, in the second-floor boardroom of the Hotel Martinique on the 32nd and Broadway. The PGA, the Professional Golfers Association of America, was born. And to piggyback off that, the LPGA was founded in 1950, and it is the oldest continuing women's professional sports organization in the United States. It succeeded the Women's Professional Golf Association, which was founded in 1944 but stopped its limited tour after the 48 season and officially ceased operations in December of 49. All right, just a couple more here now. We're going to go to NASCAR. I am not the biggest NASCAR fan, and I know some of our listeners may not be the biggest NASCAR fans, but when you talk about sports in America, you talk about NASCAR's got to be a part of that. And I'm sure a lot of us already know the origins of NASCAR, right? Stock car racing in the United States has its origins in bootlegging during Prohibition, when drivers ran bootleg whiskey made primarily in the Appalachian region of the United States. Bootleggers needed to distribute their products, and they typically used small, fast vehicles to better evade the police. Many of the drivers would modify their cars for speed and handling, as well as increased cargo capacity. But NASCAR, National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, was founded by mechanic and driver Bill France Sr. on February 21st, 1948, following an initial organizational meeting with other racers and promoters on December 14th, 1947. Now, look at where NASCAR is at. Even if you're not a NASCAR fan, you probably know a lot of the drivers in its history. Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Richard Petty. I mean, the list goes on. Even it's one of those sports, if you don't know or you don't follow it, you're not a fan, you probably know a lot of the racers from it. I'm throwing Major League Soccer into this thing, too, because soccer, from a worldwide perspective, is one of the most popular sports, if not the most popular sport. We've got the World Cup coming up, and, United States is hosting and such. So, I mean, you got to throw soccer in. It is a very, very, very popular sport. And keeping it with a USA tie, got to look at Major League Soccer. As it was officially founded on December 17th, 1993, as part of the United States' successful bid to host the 1994 FIFA World Cup. Following its official formation, the league delayed its launch and played its inaugural season with 10 teams in 1996. We're talking about Colorado Rapids, Columbus Crew, DC United, Dallas Burn, now FC Dallas, Kansas City Wiz, Sporting Kansas City, LA Galaxy, the New England Revolution, the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars, now the New York Red Bulls, San Jose Clash, later the Earthquakes, and then Tampa Bay Mutiny, which was defunct as of 2001. The predecessor of MLS was the North American Soccer League, which existed from 1968 until 1984. The final two. Now, I'm throwing the Olympics in here, but from a U.S. version. The United States made its Olympic debut in 1896 in Athens, the very first edition of the modern games. The United States was the only non-European country to compete. Despite their small team of 14 athletes, the Americans won 11 events, more golds than any other country. James Connolly became the first modern Olympic champion as part of that. And just a little bit of a background, the first Summer Olympics hosted in the United States took place in St. Louis, Missouri in 1904. And the first Winter Olympics in the United States were hosted Lake Placid, New York, 1932. And finally, the last one. Again, I know a lot of our listeners, I shouldn't say a lot, but we do have some listeners that may not be big fans. But again, when we talk about sports in America in the last 250 years, I don't think you can tell it without mentioning the WWE. WWE's origins can be traced back as far as the 50s, when on January 7th, 1953, the first show under the Capital Wrestling Corporation was produced. Now, there is some uncertainty as to who the founder of the CWC was. Some sources state that it was Vincent J. McMahon, while others cite McMahon's father, Jess McMahon, as founder of the CWC. But it later joined the National Wrestling Alliance, and famous New York promoter Toots Mott soon joined the promotion. CWC, including both Mont and McMahon, eventually left the NWA in protest and renamed their CWC brand to the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. They brought along with them Willie Gillensburg, longtime boxing and wrestling promoter in New Jersey. In April of '63, the WWWF World Heavyweight Championship was created. Then it was the WWWF was renamed to WWF in 1979. In 1980, Vincent J. McMahon's son, Vincent K. McMahon, and his wife, Linda, established Titan Sports. The younger McMahon bought CWC from his father in '82, effectively seizing control of the company. The actual date of the sale is still unknown, but generally accepted as of June 6, 1982. And then on May 6, 2002, WWF changed both its company name and the name of its wrestling promotion to World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. And I can tell you right now, we're probably going to have some of those wrestlers in our top 250, the rest of our top 250. So that's the first installment in our top 10, our top 250, of American sports moments. Got to start from the beginning. You got to start from the formation of a lot of these leagues. NFL, MLB, NCAA, NBA, PGA, NASCAR. Obviously, the Olympics are a little bit different. I went with a little bit of a different approach, but kind of went with the Olympics and America's first participation in them in the modern day Olympics, and then when they hosted the first ones there too. But you got to start from the beginning if we're going to do this from a historical standpoint. Starting tomorrow, we're going to get into some of the athletes. We're going to get into some of the coaches, some of the most iconic games, teams. It's all across the board here. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll wrap up. We got to take a couple breaks here. I went a little long there. So, all right, we'll take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Summer is here, and that means it's time to freshen up your home from the ground up with Carpet City Flooring Center. Whether you're hosting some backyard get-togethers or opening the doors to family and friends, or you're just ready for a seasonal refresh, new flooring can completely transform your space. From soft, comfortable carpet to durable luxury vinyl planks, Carpet City Flooring Center has everything you need to bring your vision to life. It's not just about the looks, it's about quality that you can count on and expert guidance given every step of the way. Their team is ready to help you find the perfect fit for your style, your needs, and your budget. So before summer officially kicks off, make sure that your home is ready to shine. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center today and take that first step towards a space that you will love all season long. Hey, especially with Father's Day coming up, surprise Dad by maybe getting a new floor in his man cave or in his space, too. So I do got to take one more break before the top of the hour, but just kind of reset everything here. Send me your, what is this? Oh, okay. Send me your VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. All right, what was the best? What was the worst from the weekend? Text those on over to that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Or you can hang out and chime in on the Section 105 chat on our video stream on YouTube. So you can make your picks over there. I'll make mine coming up a little bit later on, but give you some time to send those on over here too. So we'll get to that. Again, we've got some Eau Claire Express chats coming up just past 9 o'clock. So we'll chat with Pete Knutson. 1 week in the books already for the Eau Claire Express. They're going to be back at it tonight at Carson Park, taking on Thunder Bay. So if you haven't been to a game yet, you haven't been to Carson Park yet for an Express game, got an opportunity tonight. Then they hit the road tomorrow against Madison. They'll be back home Wednesday against Madison, but then they're going to be on the road for the next 6 games. So get on down to the ballpark to begin the month of June. Brand new month, taking in a little Express baseball. So, all right, tell you what, let's take a quick break now as we start to play a little catch up. Then we're going to be at halftime here. We'll get back to some more Brewers baseball, too, as we get set for this 4-game series against the Giants. The Brewers with a fantastic month of May. What do we have in store for the month of June? Another great month. Can we get it? Huh? Maybe. Maybe we're going to see some new faces this month, too. We're going to see the Cooper Pratt, Jet Williams call-up potentially this month. Maybe. But we'll get to all that coming up in the next hour. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up the second hour after these few words. Dings, dents, or something more serious, don't stress about it. Just head to Superior Auto Body. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they are your go-to team for getting your vehicle back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. That's Superior Auto Body, your go-to place for all of your auto body needs. Superior Auto Body, our official Backyard Dreams partners. And speaking of Backyard Dreams, don't forget to sign up for the 6th Annual Casper Classic coming your way Friday, August 7th at Lake Helly Golf Course. Get your two-person team signed up right now by visiting our website, sportstalk1051.com, WYYradio.com. 10 a.m., I think we only got a couple spots left after I have to update it again this morning. So plenty of spots yet still for 1 p.m., but those are going to go quick. And then we got the 7:30 a.m. flight, too. We have sold out every year. I know it's just June. You're thinking, I got a couple months yet here. No, it'll go quick. If you're interested in partnering, maybe a whole sponsor, or donating a raffle prize, reach out, especially if you are interested in donating a raffle prize, because all proceeds go to help support Backyard Dreams. It'd be awesome. All right, shot clocks are cutting you off. 2 in. We got 2 more to go. Let's get back to some more baseball talk with the Brew Crew getting set for a 4-game series against the Giants. Another great game from Jacob Mizorowski yesterday. A great month of May. Could the Brewers repeat it in the month of June? Let's talk some Brewers baseball. We'll be back after these quick news updates. Cruising on through. We are on to the third quarter. Halftime is over with. Big thanks for hanging out with us this morning, no matter where you are listening to us from or how you may be listening to us. Coming up in about an hour, we'll catch up with the Eau Claire Express. Pete Knutson will be joining us to kind of recap the first week of the season for the Express and look ahead to this week as the Express will be back at Carson Park tonight to take on Thunder Bay, a team that they'll be playing for the fourth straight game. They picked up a win yesterday afternoon at Carson Park, so we'll see if the Express can pick up another win tonight. So we got that coming up in about an hour. We'll do some we'll get to some more VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. We'll do a little Glory Days brought to you by Summer Jam, probably coming up in the final hour, next hour too. So Brewers, they had a fantastic weekend, fantastic month of May, only losing one series. Mix in a couple sweeps in there. I mean, the series they lost to was the Dodgers. Jacob Mizorowski, absolutely fantastic month of May. If it wasn't for Christopher Sanchez, Jacob Mizorowski would be probably the main talk about, a lot of National League pitchers have a fantastic month of May, but if it wasn't for Sanchez not allowing a single run, Miz might be at the top of the list in terms of the national attention, national talking points for Jacob Mizorowski. Superstar, ace, whatever you want to call him, he's that. 100%, he is that. So the Brewers will try to kind of pick up where they left off in the month of May and begin a new series, begin a new month, and maybe continue playing at a high level. When you look at our first impressions of this Brewers schedule for the month of June, team's going to take it day by day, and they should. But you look at this. Okay, you got the Giants for 4 games at your park, at your field. The Giants are a team that I think it's fair to say not maybe playing as well as they thought or a lot of people thought. They're 13 games under 500. They're 23-36. Okay, they're like 1.5 games above the Rockies in their division. All right, so Giants not playing that well. This is Milwaukee on paper. I know pitching, there's like two of them that are TBDs, to be announced, to be determined. Brewers should win this series. Should. But you look at this schedule, and then you got the Rockies after this. All right. An opportunity to start a new month on a good note, on a hot streak, to kind of pick up where you left off in the month of May. And then you visit the Athletics. The Athletics are better this year. There's no question. They're still under 500, though. Seattle has overtaken that AL West spot. They've won 6 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10. Athletics 28-31. They're tied with the Rangers. Athletics are just 3-7 in their last 10 games, and they're taking on the Cubs right now. But again, winnable series for the Brewers. Brewers should be favored in that. And then, kind of like May, in the middle of the month, there's an interesting stretch. So when we were looking at Brewers, it kind of began with that Cardinals series that ended up just being a 2-game series. But then you had Cardinals, Yankees, Padres. You throw the Twins in there, Cubs, Dodgers, Cardinals. Those are some quality teams in there for a big chunk of May. And now you look at the schedule here for June for the Brewers. Not to overlook the Giants, the Rockies, or Athletics, because you better not. Brewers better not overlook them. Take advantage of the schedule. Take care of your own business. Win these games against those teams. But I'm looking at starting June 12th. I'm a fan. I can look ahead a little bit here. That begins a stretch of some really tough matchups and potentially some really good series. You've got the Phillies at home starting June 12th for a 3-game series. Then you've got the Guardians at home for a 3-game series. Phillies definitely playing better than what they were earlier on in the season, although look at the Nationals right now. The Nationals, 31-29. They're second place in the NL East behind the Atlanta Braves. Phillies are in third, but, I mean, I don't think anybody's ready to toss the Phillies aside. They're back above 500. They're 30-29. And depending on, can you imagine, I don't know what the layout would look out, but if we get a Miz versus Sanchez start in that series, that's a hot ticket. I'd love to go to that game. You might not, if you like offense with your baseball, though, you may not want to watch that game. But that would be a fantastic matchup between those two pitchers. But you look at that series. Man, that's a big one. Then the Guardians. Then you hit the road to take the Braves for 3 games. The National League's best team, Major League Baseball's best team, Atlanta Braves, hitting the road to take them on. Huge series in a row. Then you have the Reds. And I know the Reds in the division right now are in last place, but they're still a winning record. It's going to be a tough out. Division games, yeah. And you come back to face the Cubs at home. And you know the Cubs would love nothing more than to enact a little revenge after sweeping them at Wrigley Field. They would love to return the favor at AmFam Field. And then you finish up with the Reds at home too. So not to overlook this Giants series or the Rockies this weekend or the Athletics a week from today. But that stretch of games starting on June 12th, got some good matchups there. And then if we're getting really far ahead of ourselves, the Brewers, right before the All-Star break, they're going to be on the road quite a bit. But then they're at home right after the All-Star break for a good stretch here too. So, but Giants. So we get Shane Drone getting to start today for the Brewers. He got a start back on April 8th, his lone start, and it did not go well against Boston. But since then, he has been a very good pitcher coming out of the pen and given the Brewers some long relief, eating up some innings, and pitching very well. When you look at what Shane has done, again, just in the month of May, if we look at his numbers in terms of, excuse me, in the month of May, he has been, where'd it go there? All right, 1-0 in 7 games, but a 1.72 ERA. In 7 games, he has pitched just under 16 innings. There is a couple games here where he's gone 3 innings. He did go 4 1/3 against the Cubs, 3 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Yankees. He's coming off of 2 innings pitched against the Cardinals back on the 27th. So I think the Brewers are hoping that would like to get 3 innings out of him if it's going well tonight. I would say that's probably the number. If you can get through, a turn through the rotation. Heck, if he's wheeling and dealing, maybe you approach that 4 innings. But, that game against the Cubs where he went 4 1/3, he threw a total of 42 pitches. I mean, you want to talk about efficiency? Dude was on in that game. And a big difference between his month of April and the month of May has been the walks. And a lot of it is skewed, I think, by that first game from Boston. He issued 4 walks. And in the month of May, a total of 3 walks. His command has been better. His control has been better. His stuff has just been better overall. And I think they may have found a nice sweet spot for him, too, because even if you look at April, April 24th, he pitched 4 innings, 71 pitches, no decision against Pittsburgh. Threw 10 pitches in a game against Arizona on the 28th. And then April 30th, he pitched 60 pitches in 4 innings. The highest pitch count that he had in the month of May is 42, and it was that Cubs game. So maybe kind of looking around that 40, 45 pitch count area. Try to get through 3 innings, maybe 4 if he's on like he was during that Cubs game. I think that I think if Pat Murphy and the Brewers got that from Shane tonight, they'd be ecstatic. Because then you're really not draining out your bullpen. Because let's face it, it's kind of a bullpen type of game tonight. And if they can get 3-4 innings out of him and maybe not use Chad Patrick, or if they have to use Chad Patrick, maybe it's like an inning. Because given the probable starters that have been listed out there, Kyle Harrison's supposed to get the start tomorrow. Don't be surprised if Chad Patrick gets one of those starts. After that, it might be a little bit up in the air. Maybe when was the last time Robert Gasser started? Let me take a look. See if I can find it here. Really quick. So Robert's last appearance was I don't want his. I want game logs. Let's go May 29th. Okay, so yeah, that's a possibility maybe at the back end that he could get the series finale and such. But I think a big key for tonight's game for Shane Drone and for this Brewers team, let's give them that early run support. I know we keep saying it. We keep kind of, always mentioning that as a key to victory, but I think that is such a huge key to victory for these younger pitchers that if they go in there and they know they've already got some early run support, it just gives them that confidence, kind of relaxes it for them a little bit. It'd be huge. All right, let's take a quick break. Back with play more. I do want to throw a little Badger stuff in here because we do have some Badger football nugget. We'll obviously dive into it more detail with RJ Cardinal, but something of note for Badger football that popped up this weekend too. So let's hit that up. Quick break, and we'll be back after these few words. Whether you are chasing a championship or you're just trying to stay active, your body deserves the best care. At Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, they help athletes and non-athletes alike get back to doing what they love. From sports injuries and joint pain to everyday aches, their expert team is here with personalized care every single step of the way. So no matter your level of activity, you do not have to sit on the sidelines. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better, to feel better, and to live better. We'll chat about this in more detail tomorrow with Mr. Cardinal, but it is of note that the Wisconsin Badgers, now they haven't hired an AD, but they've got a new football GM. And he's a former NFL executive. Morocco Brown, hired as Wisconsin's new football GM. He's a former Colts chief personnel executive. It also should be noted that the Colts general manager is Chris Ballard, who is a Wisconsin alum, and he is a member of the Badgers search committee for the new athletic director. But Brown previously worked with Cleveland, Washington, and Chicago in the NFL. He's also had several interviews for NFL general manager roles, including with Atlanta, Chicago, and Pittsburgh. Now, Brown joined the Colts with Ballard in 2017, and he was named Chief Personnel Executive in 2022. So, again, it's kind of another, I guess, sign, another example, if you will, of Badger football kind of trying to modernize maybe to the current wave of college football. So, one thing that probably won't get a lot of Badger fans pumped up is that he apparently was a guy that really championed the Colts to draft Anthony Richardson. Now we'll see how Anthony Richardson's career maybe pans out after his Colts tenure, but that's kind of one of the things that is noted with him is that he is the guy who really kind of championed the Colts to draft Anthony Richardson. So, but again, I'm sure there's going to be some Badgers fans that are going to look at that as the one example and maybe use that against him and such. But so they get that one. They've got their new football GM. Still waiting to hear about the athletic director, any updates or anything like that out there. So staying with college here, just for a quick note here. UW Milwaukee. All right, UW Milwaukee baseball. They're in a kind of do or die situation tonight. So they're going to be taking on Auburn. It's going to be taking on Auburn again. So tonight at 5 p.m. Now they beat Auburn first, then Auburn come back and beat them 8-1. So if they got to win tonight to continue their run in the World Baseball Classic. Or not, why do I keep saying World Baseball Classic? College World Series. I always say World Baseball Classic. I don't know why that's been in my head here as of late. College World Series. But it's been really fun. Pat Murphy, I'm sure a lot of you already saw him getting pumped up and getting them, telling everybody to get pumped up and jacked up and following along with UW Milwaukee baseball. I mean, think about it. Division I baseball in the state of Wisconsin. It's UW Milwaukee, for crying out loud, right? I mean, that's the team. That's until Wisconsin Madison ever gets one, if they ever get one again. That's our team. That's the D1 team, right? So let's hope that they get and I mean, come on now, Dalton Varsho. He's got to be pumped up. That's where he went to college. Hopefully they can continue their run and beat Auburn again tonight. So, tell you what, I'll wait till the 9 o'clock hour. I was going to go through some of the, because I know we've got some prep baseball, some prep softball playoffs, and a lot of prep stuff, but I'll wait till the 9 o'clock hour to get to that after RJ Cardinal and such too. Quick little football nuggets. Today is June 1st, as in case you didn't know, waking up or looking at the calendar. So from a football perspective, Nate Hobbs, Brandon McManus, their contracts will come off the Packers' book. Creating, according to Ken Ingalls, creating another $9.3 million of cap space for 2026. So their cap space will go from $17 million to about $26 million. What does that mean? Can mean a couple different things. One, maybe more extensions now that they got a little bit more breathing room. Could see some more extensions. Christian Watson, Devontae Wyatt, those type, Tucker Kraft. I think we're still going to get at least 1-2 more extensions before the season starts, maybe one during the season. I think that's still very much in play. Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns right now with the running back situation and the Josh Jacobs issue. So I haven't seen anything as of late, any updates or anything like that. But it's kind of a big day in terms of that. Now, I don't think you're going to all of a sudden see a lot of releases because Nate Hobbs was released already. Brandon McManus was released already. Nate Hobbs is already on a new team. So you're not necessarily going to see an influx of teams releasing players because it's June 1st. Teams can release those players way beforehand. It's just those contract numbers don't come off the books until today, after today. The post-June 1st. That's the big thing in this thing. So when you hear post-June 1st cuts, it's not necessarily an influx of a bunch of veterans that are going to be released. It's just those veterans most of them have already been released. It's just the cap number officially comes off those books if teams designated those players as post-June 1st cuts, like the Packers did with Nate Hobbs and Brandon McManus. So maybe there'll be a few teams that move on from guys, but one of them, we may see the A.J. Brown trade kind of finally come to a head. That could be a possibility, but all right. Tell you what, we got to take a quick break here. We'll kind of catch up on some other things that have been going on before we get to a little express chat and such. So tell you what, let's do that. Let's take a quick break and continue to send me your oh no, I just saw Raymond Berry passed away. One of the best tight ends in football history, long-time Colt player. Oh, he passed away. I just saw that pop up. Oh, that's sad. All right. Send me your VFW post, best and worst from the weekend. Text it on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or you can hit us up on the Section 105 chat room. We'll take a quick break and back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. When it comes to quality meat in Eau Claire, there's one name that locals trust, and that's Mike's Star Market. From hand-cut steaks and fresh ground beef to homemade brats and specialty items, everything is prepared with care and packed with flavor. Planning a cookout, filling the freezer, or just looking for something better for dinner tonight? Mike's Star Market has got you covered. Stop on and stay and taste the difference. Mike's Star Market, your hometown butcher shop right here in Eau Claire. So we got a busy 9 o'clock hour coming up. We'll kick it off, again, talking some baseball. We'll chat with Pete Knutson from the Eau Claire Express to kick off our Monday Express chats. The Express now a week into their season. They'll be back at Carson Park tonight. Then after that, we'll do some more local sports. We'll do our local sports roundup with, first of all, brought to you by Carper City Flooring Center, and Justice Cleveland will join us for that. So got a busy at 9 o'clock hour coming your way this morning. Reminder, Brewers are back in action tonight to begin a 4-game series going up against the Giants. The Giants will be coming to town. First pitch, the next 3 games are all going to be at 6:40. And coverage will begin 35 minutes prior. You can catch those games on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Busy week here for the crew because 4 games against the Giants, no off day in there, and then they're going to be hitting the road to take on the Rockies of Colorado. So, best and worst. Our VFW post 305, best and worst from the weekend. I'll go with mine. My best, I got to go with UW Milwaukee. I just hope it gets better tonight with a win. I hope it gets better tonight with a win from UW Milwaukee's baseball team. So, but thumbs up. I know it was a little bit before the weekend, but hey, I'm going to throw them in there. So that's the best. Got started off there. The worst and best, honorable mention, you could throw in the Miz and just completing a month of May that was spectacular and absolutely fantastic. Worst, this whole Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever coach drama sort of thing. Come on. Now we've got, should the Fever, decide the head coach or Caitlin Clark, who should stay, who should go? Come on, we got to stop this. And I will say this, the constant complaining from Caitlin Clark on the court for some of this stuff, it does get a little too much. Okay, I'm just going to say it does get a little too much. There's at times, there was like one play I witnessed this past weekend, and she was just really upset, and it was, I wouldn't have called it a foul. Really, like, touched, like, it was kind of like there's somebody trying to set a screen, I think, up at the top, or no, she was, all right, anyways, it was very ticky-tacky, and they didn't call a foul, and she got upset, pretty upset, and it's just like, okay, no, just don't. All right. That's kind of like my glory days, too. I'm just going to transition into my glory days, brought to you by Summer Jam. Remember the glory days when guys or players or athletes didn't really complain so much about foul calls, or whether it's been basketball or football and quarterbacks and such? Not to say that it was better when people didn't, they would play with concussion. I'm not saying that, but man, I feel like back when I was younger and watching these games, I didn't see so much of pro players, pro athletes complaining to the referees as much as they do today. I could be completely wrong, or maybe it's just it's hyper-focused more because of social media, and it's constantly in our face, so we see it more often. We see instant replays of it, and it's always on loop. But I just feel like and I think it's transitioning into younger sports too, because I see it, whether it's being a youth sports coach or whatever, but 8, 9, 10-year-olds, like in baseball, they don't think it's a strike, so they're complaining to the umpire, who's also like a teenager. It's like, no, stop. Or basketball, complaining about a non-call. Stop. And I don't know if that's because they see it also from their favorite athletes, where they're just constantly complaining and they're constantly, not only complaining, but making a scene out of it too. And I don't know if maybe I'm completely ignoring it from when I was younger. But man, it feels like back in the glory days when, you might have gotten, drive into the lane in basketball. You might have gotten hit. You might have gotten a little bump. But you didn't complain about it. It was part of the game. And in football, it's a physical sport, right? You are expected to get hit. I don't care if you're a quarterback making $500 million. You're in football. You're expected to get hit. It's not flag football. For crying out loud. Like, what happened? Like, what changed? You know what I mean? Like, what was that moment in like sports history or in the sports timeline? What all of a sudden changed this mindset, I don't know if narrative isn't the right word, but what changed this kind of way of going about it all? This way of, hey, we're going to complain about every little thing about ticky-tack fouls and go to the officials. And that's not to say they never did. Okay, I feel like it's even more to this day. And again, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's just exposed more because of social media. But because of that exposure to social media and it constantly being on TV and all the, internet such, I think that's exposing it more to our younger athletes, and we're seeing our younger athletes kind of emulate that. And I'm not saying it's wrong to emulate athletes. I did it as a kid. We all did it as a kid. A lot of us did it as a kid, whether it was basketball and we were, pretending to be Jordan or beating Jordan, or in baseball and you're pretending to be Nolan Ryan and throwing, to an imaginary catcher. You're Ken Griffey Jr. at the plates, or football, you're throwing touchdown passes as Brett Favre. We all emulated them. And maybe we kind of emulated some of their antics, like Jordan, the tongue wag, right? We all did that stuff. I just don't want them to emulate. It's okay to constantly complain about every little ticky-tack foul or every little ball strike. When did that change? Let's get back to the glory days of that. That's what I miss. Just go out there and play. Just go out there and play. All right, so NBA Finals. How geeked up are you about this? Here's the thing. With the NBA Finals, I'm glad it's two different teams. That's what I will say. I'm glad it's a little bit different. It's not Boston again. It's Thunder won it last year, so I shouldn't necessarily say it's like, oh, it's always the Thunder. It's different with the Spurs. It's a unique matchup in terms of you got the Knicks as a worldwide brand, as a team that I think a lot of us feel the NBA itself would love to see win the championship in a big market in New York, Madison Square Garden, right? You're going to have all the celebrities. You're going to have all the hype. You're going to have all the attention. Like the Knicks are finally back in the finals. Are they going to finally win again? And on the flip side, you've got a budding worldwide superstar already at that level, Victor Wembanyama. I mean, the NBA, I would think, would have to love this. And the Spurs are championship pedigree franchise too under Greg Popovich, right? They've won multiple championships not that long ago. So you've got a worldwide superstar in Victor Wembanyama, and you've got a brand team like the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. The NBA loves this. Why wouldn't they love it? I don't know I think their ratings are going to be solid for wherever it's coming. Maybe a lot of us who are not big NBA fans or such, or maybe you're just a Bucks fan. Okay, you may casually tune in once in a while. I'll be tuning in. It's the NBA Finals, for crying out loud, and I hope it's a good series. I hope we got some good games on there. But I think the NBA got best of both worlds. And then Stanley Cup Finals, you got Carolina, and you got Vegas. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights are such a interesting story when you kind of look at the beginnings, right? I mean, they were founded in 2017. They've already won a Stanley Cup championship. They've won 3 conference championships already. And they've only been there from 27, not even 10 years in existence. Vegas back in it. And then you got Carolina. You know, the Hurricanes. They won a Stanley Cup in 05, 06 season. And that was the last time that they were in a conference championship, too. So it's been about 20 years. It has been 20 years since they've been back in it. The old Hartford Whalers, right? So, I'm curious. I'm excited for both these. First of all, Stanley Cup Finals, playoff hockey. How many times have we said it? Is awesome in itself, and it's fun to watch. I think it'll be a fun series, and I think the NBA Finals is going to be a fun playoff series too. So between all of our basketball games and maybe a little World Cup coming soon down the road, I think we're going to have some decent finals matchups. But we'll start to make picks tomorrow when we get our first game, Stanley Cup Finals, Game 1 coming your way tomorrow. All right, let's take a quick break. And we'll wrap up the third hour coming up after these few words. Kids are out of school or will be out of school at the end of this week well, some of them, I know mine will be. So it's time to stock up the food pantries or the freezers with extra snacks, extra meals, because they're just going to be constantly hungry now, right? So what better place to go, or where do you go? It's Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Take advantage of some of the sales going on, like 10 for 8 Chobani yogurts. My kid loves yogurt. That's a heck of a deal. You can load up with different flavors of yogurt. How about, temperatures are up, so a little ice cream, $2.99 for Blue Bunny ice cream, and sales on various Blue Bunny ice cream products, whether it's, you just want to get the container, or maybe some ice cream bars and such. So you could get that, load up the freezers with that. Ooh, a little Blue Bunny cones, caramel cones over there too. So already got 12 packs of sodas. Looks like Pepsi products. They're on sale this week as well. So if you need to load up the fridge, the freezer, the food pantry, because the kids are at home now off of school, get your shopping done at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. And right now too, because you want to make sure you're always following that Facebook page for Hy-Vee, because they got a hot deal alert. Butterball 85% ground turkey, $12 for 8 1-pound packages while supplies last. So get on over there while supplies last. And don't forget to, while you shop at Hy-Vee, you can save some money at the gas pump with their fuel perks. All right, just a few minutes left until the top of the hour here. So really quick, kicking off the 9 o'clock hour, we'll catch up with the Eau Claire Express. Pete Knutson will be joining us. First week in the books for the Eau Claire Express season. And so we'll chat with him. We'll chat with Pete to get his thoughts on the team thus far. First week impressions. The Express are going to be back at it tonight at Carson Park, taking on Thunder Bay. And then after that, Justice Cleveland will join us to wrap up the first hour. We'll do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. I know we got a lot of playoff stuff with prep baseball, softball, golf, soccer. So we'll break it all down with Justice coming up in the next hour or two. I know it's going to be kind of a busy day for his crew, or busy week, I should say, for his crew and such. So, but we'll go through it all coming up here in the next hour. You can continue to send me your VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. So text those on over on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the video stream and join in on the Section 105 chat room. So, and then we'll get back. We'll throw in some more Brewers baseball, too, as we get set for Game 1 of a 4-game series with the Giants. First pitch tonight, 6:40. 6:40. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior. And you can listen to that game on the radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. It'll be 6:40 for tonight and the next 2 days, and then Thursday's game is going to be 1:40 first pitch. But we've got Shane Drone, who's going to get the start tonight for the Brewers. Got to imagine maybe it's going to be a little bit of a bullpen day. And then Kyle Harrison's going to get the start tomorrow. And then right now, still to be announced for the next 2 starts for the Brewers. I think Chad Patrick's going to get one of those, depending on probably if they need him either today or tomorrow. But I think they're probably hoping that he'd be available to start one of those games. And then maybe Robert Gasser getting that last one too, just depending on, kind of seeing where his last start was the 29th. So it may work out that maybe he gets that start too. So, but we'll see. So, all right, just a couple minutes left until the top of the hour. So again, send me your VFW Post 305's best and worst from the weekend. All right. What you got? And if you want to do some Weekend Warrior shout-outs, I think I got a couple of them I got to get to yet. You can also send those on over, and we'll do a little shout-out there too in the final hour. But we got a couple texts regarding the Brewers. We had Dave a little bit earlier saying, What Jacob Mizorowski is doing is unbelievable. You're correct. If Sanchez did not allow a single run in the month of May, Mizorowski would be the talk around Major League Baseball. Hopefully he can continue to pitch at a high level in the month of June. Another texter, Nick, said, absolutely awesome month of May for the Brewers. They're off to a really good start. Hopefully they can kind of continue this and not stutter in the month of June. And then Alex with a text about the Brew Crew. I really hope that we do see Cooper Pratt and or Jet Williams with the ball club soon. I think we need more offensive production from the left side of the infield, and I think Jet Williams and Cooper Pratt are playing at a high enough level that they deserve to be called up to the Major League Ball Club. Maybe this is the month. Maybe this is the month they do. And like I said in the first hour, I'm a little bit worried about my guy, Sal Frelick. Got to get some better production from him. Otherwise, you got a kid named Laura waiting there too. And that could be an option. Come on, Sal. Come on, baby. We need the summer of Sal back. Salvatore. Got to get better offensive production, man. Got to get it there, dude. Defense is there, but I don't want to turn this into a Joey Ortiz thing with Salvatore. Please, please don't. Let's just, I'm begging you, Sal, figure it out at the plate. Let's go. All right, let's go. All right, Shotcloud's going to cut me off. So we got some news updates, and then we'll kick off the final hour on this Monday morning of June 1st. Chatting some more baseball. We'll chat some Eau Claire Express baseball as the first week of the season. Already here, right? Already here. So Pete Knutson will be joining us, and then we've got Justice Cleveland from WEAU 13 News, Sports Scene 13. He'll do our local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Quick news break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, we are off in the final hour on this Monday morning of June 1st, beginning a brand new work week and a brand new month. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning, whether you are listening on the radio dials. There's a couple of those, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online at our website, sportstalk1051.com. You can download the app, take us on the go. Your smart devices, smart speakers like your Alexa devices, YouTube, all over the place here. Coming up in a little bit, Justice Cleveland from WEAU 13 News will be joining us in studio as we are going to be taking a look at some softball playoff games that have been going on. Also, baseball playoffs going to be going on for the prep side, soccer, golf, kind of putting a bow on a lot of our spring prep sports seasons. So Justice will be joining us to break all of that down. We kick off this hour, though, like we're going to be doing every Monday during the summer, catching up with our good friends from the Eau Claire Express. And 1 week in already. And to help us break down is the man, the voice of the Eau Claire Express, Mr. Pete Knutson. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. How many years now?
God.
I'm putting you on the spot right away.
2014 was my first year, so do the math.
12,
I think 13? It's 12. It should be 13, but, there was that COVID season in there.
That's right. So
because you always got to add a year.
You do. Yeah.
But now you take one away, so it actually works out with the math.
There you go.
It makes it easier to do the math.
It does make it easier. Then I don't have to explain it to my 9-year-old.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Dad,
like how year 0 was actually a year. And
Yeah, definitely.
It works out. So, it's been a while.
Yeah, well, 1 week in already, man. So, already hitting the road. You got Thunder Bay again tonight.
Yeah, Border Cats again.
Mm-hmm. Did I see in your write-up 111th matchup?
Yeah,
wow.
It's I'd have to go back and look at my spreadsheet. I think it's the team we played like the third or fourth most in our history. So Lacrosse, Duluth, Waterloo, and Thunder Bay are kind of the four that we tend to play the most. So we have a really good record against them, but they've gotten better. They got a really good coach last year, and he's back this year, and I really like him. The league has us interview whoever wins afterward for our video stream. So unfortunately, when opponents win, I have to talk to them, which isn't my favorite thing in the world. But he's a good dude, and it should be a fun one tonight.
Well, I know we're just a week into the season, but it seems like the pitching for the Express has been pretty solid to open up the year. Yeah,
first in the league in strikeouts, 86, something like that. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I put those notes together, Dan, at like 1 a.m. each night. So
7th in ERA, though.
Yeah, 7th in ERA. Yeah, Hunter Gunther last night, 7 innings pitched. He had 10 strikeouts in 7 innings. He got Northwoods League Pitcher of the Night before I got those notes done, or after I got those notes done. So he did that. He's from Gilmanton. He's a Winona State kid, so that was pretty cool to see. And pitching's been great. Mm-hmm. Man, if we could just string some hits together, and we did yesterday with the 4-0 win. But like if our offense could be anything that it's been the last 2 years with what the pitching's been so far, this could be a team that goes really far. It's interesting because I'm looking at all the pitching stats, like team ERAs, and the Express are 7th in the league, and everybody else who's above them is like 6-1, 5-2, and I'm like, and we're 2-5. Like, how is this happening? So get the bats going, and we'll get some guys over the next couple weeks. So, not too worried about that. But we got a lot of guys who are like their teams are making like Cinderella runs in the NCAA tournament. So look at like Milwaukee, right?
Yep.
Like they're one of the 4 seeds that has a shot to make it to the Supers. So like UIC won a couple games. So Jake Busson's going to be a little bit later than he would have been. But it's been interesting to see.
Absolutely. Well, you kind of took the next question right away from me. Still waiting for some guys to kind of come to join the team, which I know is always that tough time of period to open up the season, but don't really have the full squad. Yet with them.
How about Cal Poly, right? They, I think they were in UCLA's region. I think it was, and UCLA is the number 1 team in the country, and they, I believe, advanced yesterday to the Super Regionals. So Cal Poly guys are going to be late, which they usually are because they're on trimesters. That's a whole other thing,
right?
But that's pretty cool, man. I think was it 3 or 4 of the hosts of the regionals this weekend are already out, eliminated. Yeah. So there's been some big upsets in the tournament, and go figure that the teams upsetting might have a player or two that we are waiting on. So did you watch any of UW Milwaukee yet?
Yeah, I did. I've seen a little bit of it.
We got to send a memo about those jerseys.
I know.
I mean, they look like Little League jerseys.
Can you get a hold of like maybe Dalton as an alum can kind of maybe put some sway or to that?
Well, we need to get some of these like minor league designers out to kind of update it, because man, I was watching that and I go, guys, we gotta We got to do something about those
rep
UW
a little bit
Milwaukee.
better.
Yeah,
definitely. So, so what's it like? Obviously Dale has been with here since the beginning, but now he's got his son playing on the team too, right? So that's got to be kind of cool to kind of call his games, but maybe cool for Dale, you would think, to maybe manage.
Well, I remember, so I worked like a full time for a year for the Express in like 2015, something like that. So he would, Dale would rope me into more things when I worked full time. But I remember that year he said, "Hey, I need somebody to do PA for CJ's game," and it was like 10 and under or 12 and I don't even know what it was. But they got to play at Carson, which was kind of cool at like 9 in the morning or something one Saturday, and came out. So I remember announcing his team when he was like, I don't know, 10 years old, 11 years old, and then, now he's playing for the Express. Well, time to sign up for AARP, I guess. It's like, what are we? So it is cool. Yeah, CJ, I know he's a temp player. I mean, he's actually hit really well. He's been dealing with he slid into home and kind of tore up his hand a little bit. But he's in the lineup tonight, and I think he should be fine. But man, he keeps hitting the way he is. I don't know what Dale's roster is looking like, but I know he's slated to be our video board operator at points throughout the season. So I don't know how all the schedule works for that, but he's fun to watch. And man, he swings a bat like Dale. He swings a bat like Dalton. Might not have the power that Dalton had, but just you can see all the lessons that Dale tries to teach to the guys in CJ's swing, right? Like the bat's really square through the zone for a long time. Just smart IQ player, just fouls off pitches. Like he just the baseball IQ is at a different level with that kid, which is really fun to watch. And you watch it and you go, can you guys just absorb what he's doing out there? Because that would be great. Like
right.
Know what base to throw to, know what know when to take off on a pitch or which count to take off on. Just really smart kid when it comes to baseball.
You've obviously been with the Express for a while now. In the last year plus, a lot of changes at the ballpark at Carson Park too. Last year was the video board. This year we've got the dugouts down there too. So from your vantage point, being up there and seeing all the changes, what's that been like to see all these updates to Carson Park?
It's cool. It's really fun. It's it's created some fun stuff at the park. We you do the new dugouts, then you realize that they're bigger, so we got to move where we put our cameras now.
Oh, yeah.
Just like little things like that. But yeah, that's been cool. We actually added all of our broadcast cameras to the video board yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So now, like in between inning games, we can. We actually got a really good shot of they were playing cornhole in between innings, and we got our high home camera to get the kid throwing it right through the hole at the right time. So and got that up on the video board, which is pretty cool.
That's
so we added that, which is nice. Like after this season, we got bleachers coming out and new construction things on the first base side. So I'm excited. It's been really cool to watch that come along. The thing I don't like about it is now with the roof on the dugout, I don't get to see the guys up on the railing from my spot, especially late in a game, like when there's a rally or something getting into it. So I'm asking our camera operators to give me more, hey, show me the guys down there. What are they doing? So that's a little bit of adjustment, but it's really cool to see that coming, because we're not far away from. Is it next year? I think we're at the 90th birthday of Carson Park, 1937 when it was built. So, so we're coming up on 90. I don't know. What do you get somebody for a 90th birthday?
There's got to be something. Is that like an anniversary sort of thing too?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I assume.
But
a gold watch. Retire already.
Probably.
That's what they tell you.
Exactly.
You're 90. Retire, man.
Oh, man. I know it's only a weekend, but have you gleaned anything, noticed anything about the makeup of this team so far that has kind of really stood out to you?
Yeah. Again, you got it's kind of similar to the last couple of years, right? Where you got a lot of Wisconsin kids, at least early. It's so hard the first week of the season to really get a sense of the team, because you don't have the regular guys there yet. But a lot of guys who like to play, and a lot of guys who, are timid when it comes to talking to media and all that sort of thing, which is always kind of fun. But that's pretty normal as well. I always harken back to 2019 when we made the championship game. The first 4 games of the year that year, we had to go to Bismarck with a let's just say not a full roster, driving 8-9 hours to Bismarck, North Dakota, and we got outscored in the 4. We had to play 4 games there, and we went 0-4, and we got outscored 61-15 or something like that combined. Wow. We gave up 15 runs a game in those first 4 games, and we made the championship that year. So I was like the first week I put very little stock in like, kind of what the team is and whatnot. Again, if these are the pitchers we have for the rest of the season, I think we're going to be in good shape. And the players are good. I think they just got to get, it's the adjustment to the wood bats and it's all the normal kind of stuff. But they'll be good, and we're going to see new guys come along. Howie Rickett from UNC Wilmington just got here yesterday. Adam Salazar was just got onto the team as well, and we'll see Jake Bussin here probably in the next week or so, and there'll be a number of other guys who start to kind of filter in that kind of add to the offensive ability.
And you mentioned it too, Wisconsin, but a lot of local kids too. That is kind of unique to see them at the high school level, and then back now with representing the Eau Claire Express has got to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
too.
I think it's I know we got a kid from Cadott. It's Hayden Bovey, I think, is the guy who's from Cadott as well, and so I got to reminisce about doing high school games up in Cadott as well, which is they put you up in the wrestling room when you call a game there, which
really?
is it's like a door that opens up and it's like a 10-foot drop down to the bleachers, and they're like, yeah, just sit here in the doorway, and I'm like, I could fall off of this, but okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, just reminiscing about stuff like that. But yeah, just another typical season where Dale's got a lot of really great local talent who's come out, and that's, I think, a fun thing because not only you get obviously parents and grandparents, but you get kids they played with in high school, and you can get some 20-person, 30-person cheering sections that go on for those kids as well. So this area, I mean, we know it, and every area is kind of like this, but in particular, we got some really good talent in this area. I know you're going to talk with Justice about some softball and whatnot later, but locally here in Western Wisconsin, especially baseball and softball, I think more so than basketball and football, to be honest with you. I mean, I know there's been good players there, but just seems like we develop talent here. I know Dale's got his academy, and that helps out. And it's really fun to see.
With the Northwoods League too, a cool thing, All-Star game, obviously Field of Dreams, and then the team's going to be over there next year too. I mean, from your perspective, how cool is that to be able to maybe go down there and call a game?
I know. I gotta get our radio guy Noah to. I got to convince him. Well, I don't know. We'll see if he's back now. I mean, he might come back next year just to go call the games in Dyersville. So, but whoever it is, I'm going to have to. Hey, why don't you take vacation those 2 days?
Yeah, exactly.
Go down to Iowa and hang out there. In fact, the league was talking about it in one of our meetings. They're like, this is going to be the biggest press box we have, right? Like, cause they built it for an MLB situation. So yeah, it's going to be cool. I think it's kind of a test run with the All-Star game, right? There. And I don't know what they've done in Dyersville around in terms of like hotels and what, they've done to kind of develop that area as well. But Dyersville is like, what, 2,000 people, something like that. It's not, it's a small area. But a lot of teams will go, I know we've done it before where when we go play Waterloo, it's only, I think, 45-minute drive or so away from Waterloo. So a lot of teams will take a day trip and run out to Field of Dreams, take some pictures, throw the ball around a little bit as well. So that's going to be cool. They're coming in. Rochester's kind of an interesting story because Rochester's they've kind of gotten in a disagreement with with Mayo Field Mayo Field and the city of Rochester about whether they're going to come back next year. So there's talk about like, hey, will they be the team that moves in there? Will it be a whole new team? We don't really know. At least I don't know. I'm not privy to those conversations. There's going to be another team coming in like very southwestern Michigan, kind of just north of Michigan City, Indiana, and just south of like Benton Harbor and St. Joe's in Michigan. So there'll be a new team there. So we'll be up to, what is that, 28?
I was going to say it's going to be close to 30,
28
right?
teams. Yeah, we're getting close to the 30 team mark, which is wild.
It is.
I think in 2010 when the Express won the championship, there were 12 teams. I think.
Wow.
In the league, so it just kind of shows you how much it's grown, and you see the new teams popping up. The Richmond Flying Mummies now is a team in Indiana, I think. So new teams popping up all the time. So it's fun.
I know you just got done with the Fond du Lac series. You got Madison and a home and away coming up later on this week or in the middle of the week here, a couple days, and then Wausau. I always like it when we see the Wisconsin teams go against each other, right? So I know Craig talked about that last week and such, but maybe potentially more of that with more expansion, right? If they kind of readjust, hopefully.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. I mean, you get enough teams, they're going to start probably having to make more or different divisions and whatnot, right? That was 2016 when they went to the 4-division idea, the Great Plains West-East and the Great Lakes East-West as well. So, yeah, who knows, 5, 6, I'm sure there's smarter people than me coming up with those decisions. Hopefully hopefully it kind of it allows us to play a lot of Wisconsin teams, which I think is good, and it saves people on travel. That's, I think, the big things there. But yeah, that'd be sweet. Yeah, playing the Wisconsin teams will be fun. I mean, lacrosse is, I think, the one, right, where I think the management for both teams, there's no rivalry, but the fans, I think, really feel that rivalry, and that's really developed over the years. So that's become fun, and you can tell. I mean, you can tell there's some people when you go down to lacrosse, there's some people in the press box who kind of give you the funny look, and it's been a good, healthy rivalry there too. So that's kind of been the one that's really blossomed, I think, in the last 5 to 10 years.
Well, before we let you go, kind of taking a look, we got a game tonight at Thunder Bay, and then you got Madison, quick road trip to Madison, then you're back at home at Carson Park, and then a little bit of an extended road trip with Duluth and Bismarck and Wilmer on there too. With these early long road trips, how beneficial though could it be for a team kind of still maybe getting to know each other at this point?
Yeah, I think that the road thing in the Northwoods League is, I don't want to say underrated, but it's one of those where. Yeah, I mean, these guys don't know each other, right? So they show. So if you're playing home games to start the season, you play and then you go back to your host family and maybe hang out. And if there's not somebody who's kind of the ringleader to say, hey, come over to my place or let's all hang out together, they don't really get that team bonding. So so the road trip kind of forces that, right? Because especially when you're going up to North Dakota, you're going to be on the bus for a long time. So they're going to be playing games and watching movies, less so than normal, right? Like now that everybody's got streaming on their devices, they don't just like put a DVD and they're like, what's a DVD?
Oh yeah.
So I remember when we first started, we had a assistant coach who wanted to show old highlights that he had from playing in college or something like that. And he was like, can we get a VHS on this bus? I have a VHS tape, and it's like, dude,
oh my gosh,
this is not even going to happen. So, that doesn't happen as much, but I think that's underrated. I think the teams in the first couple weeks of the season, I think if you're on the road, you actually have an advantage. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think that bonding is something that needs to happen. Then once you get back, then people start to hang out more, right? Like once you get 3-4 weeks into the season, then they say, okay, we're gonna hang out at so and so's place, or if there's a local kid, we'll go to his place after the game, or we'll get to the ballpark early and hang out or whatever. So I think they get a little bit more used to it, but you're forced into it on the road, which is good.
Right. All right, Pete, set us up for tonight again. Last 4 games in a row against Thunder Bay, the series finale tonight.
Yeah.
Kind of take a look at tonight's game before you hit the road. First pitch time and everything.
6:35 tonight. I know CJ Varshow's back in the lineup, which should be good. Luke Ryerse's pitching for us, who's a local guy out of Woodbury, and he pitches at the University of Minnesota. Also on the football team there as well. So he's a dude, a dude amongst dudes, and should be fun. So yeah, got to get a couple wins strung together. Try to get back to 500 before the mainstay guys get here, and then we'll see how it goes as we get into the season.
All right, Pete, thanks for stopping by and helping us preview and recap the first week of the Express season. Looking forward to more chats with you, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and I just saw Justice walk by and gave us a weird, funny look. So
he does that.
Yeah, right. We'll take a quick break and get him in. Coming up after these quick words. Big thanks again to Pete Knutson for stopping by for our weekly Eau Claire Express chat. Don't forget, if you missed those conversations, they will be a part of the All Aboard the Eau Claire Express podcast. That'll be available shortly after we are off the air here in just a little bit, but not before we get to catch up with Mr. J.C. Anisi, Justice Cleveland.
This is an all-star hour you got going on here,
right?
Pete,
And then you.
Yeah, I'm batting ninth in the lineup.
You're the closer. You're the closer.
I'm
You're the
the
Mariano Rivera.
No, I'm the 80s week hitting shortstop that they put ninth.
Pokey Reese.
Got a great glove.
Oh, man. Well, how's it going, man? I know it's
Good.
busy.
It really
busy time
is.
of
I mean,
year.
it just kicks in. It kicked into full gear last week, but this week is just another beast. This is arguably, each season has it. This is that busiest week of the season,
Right.
For the spring.
Yep.
It's nuts. I mean, today we were just kind of talking off air. It's like nothing today. Why? I don't know, because let's just put it all on Tuesday. So Tuesday we have baseball regionals, we have softball sectional semifinals, we have golf sectionals, we have soccer regionals, and I feel like I'm forgetting something else that's going on high school wise. But yeah,
Track and field.
track and field. Thankfully, that is Friday and Saturday.
Oh, that's right. State this
Yeah,
weekend.
and
Yep.
state tennis starts on Thursday.
Okay.
But wow, I mean, there are so many things that this is when you're a sports director, these are the days that kind of tear you apart because you want to cover everything.
Mm-hmm.
When you have 12 games starting at 5:00, you really can't cover.
There's not
everything.
12 of you.
Yeah.
Or
So to our viewers out there, we are not trying to leave anybody out.
Mhm.
We have 4 people at the most. We will try to get everything we can on Tuesday
Yep.
and going forward. So.
Yep. Well, on that note, let's do a little quick local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Baseball-wise, I know we got games starting off tomorrow. If we
Yes.
look at like Division I, Eau Claire North's going to be taking on Superior. We've got Memorial's going to be on the road taking on DC Everest. Menominey's going to be at home taking on Marshfield. With the winner of that one, we'll be taking on Chippewa Falls, who is a 2 seed. Hudson is a 1 seed. They would either take on New Richmond or Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln.
Yeah, I think watching Memorial North, kind of the way they played at the end of the season here, and Menominee as well, those are going to be tough teams. I think we've seen it time and time again when those Big River teams get into the playoffs, they step it up a notch. So I think Chi High getting that 2 seed and Hudson the 1 seed. There's a big chance for there being that sectional next week, having a couple Big Rivers teams there. So it'll be fun to watch how that one plays out.
Division II, Bloomer's moving on, where they will take on Rylander tomorrow. Baldwin Woodville also moved on. They'll be taking on Northland Pine. Somerset, this is Division II, I don't know if I said it. Somerset taking on Amory. And then Hayward will be taking on Altoona. Altoona had the bye for the first round. They're our 2 seed.
Altoona just having a great season, the middle border champs. And taking on a Hayward team. You don't want to, you got to be ready to go in that first game. We've seen it. I've seen it with Altoona a few years ago where you get knocked, it's not, you don't have a chance. You have one and done. So,
Yeah.
But I think this Altoona team just has pitching and has some really good hitting, and they've played so well at Cinder City. So I think they got a good chance to keep moving on.
Division III, St. Croix Falls was the 1 seed, so they get to take on Clayton Turtle Lake. Cumberland with a little bit of an upset over Grantsburg, so they'll be taking on Barron, another Cumberland-Barron matchup in sports.
Yeah,
So.
a little regional rivalry there.
Yep. Spooner also moving on. They're taking on Northwestern. You've got Boyceville, who is a 2 seed with the bye. They'll be taking on Chautauqua Weyerhaeuser. Fall Creek, a 1 seed. They'll be hosting Osseo Fairchild. Durand, Arkansas versus Melrose Mindoro. Mondovi taking on Prescott. And then Elk Mound hosting Regis.
I mean, this D3 region is just loaded with local teams and a lot of teams that have played some really good baseball this season. So this is the one where I feel like it is just going to be a dogfight to see who gets to state. I mean, Boyceville done St. Croix champs, but battled Durand, Arkansas, Mondovi all season long for that title. Fall Creek, Clover Belt champs, facing an old Clover Belt foe in Osseo, and that's a regional rivalry. And there's plenty of families, that have, friends and family that live in both those cities. So that'll be a fun one. Regis Elk Mound,
Yeah.
another one, another Clover Belt rivalry there, and they'll be battling each other. So, and I know there's a ton of other games, but yeah, that D3 is loaded. Boyceville, watched a lot of them. Fall Creek, I mean, man, there are some good matchups. Not only just this round, but moving forward in this one. So that'll be that to me is the one that just really, for locally, that is where we have probably the most teams.
Division 4, Shell Lake's the top seed. They're going to be taking on Drummond. And we got Solon Springs Northwood taking on Hurley. Webster, Schwamigan, Mellon taking on Luck Frederick.
That's the ice just got off our lakes.
Eau Claire Emmanuel Lutheran, who has had a very good season.
Yep.
They are a 1 seed, and they will be taking on Spring Valley. Bruce Gilman, Glenwood City, Flambeau, and then Loyal taking on Clear Lake.
And I know on the other side of that D4 one, we got CFC, Blair Taylor, and then Hillsborough and Oliva Strum too battling. So, yeah, a lot of D4 teams as well going on there. Emmanuel, they're a team that, they went off, they were red hot for a while, took their couple of lumps, but have battled back, and I think they've kind of steadied the ship as they get into the playoffs. Blair Taylor's been amazing. Oliva Strum lost, obviously, for teams that made a run to the championship. Lost a lot of those players, but still got it. Never hurts when you have kids that have watched teams make those runs, because they learn what it needs to be to win. So, yeah, I mean, if you look at those regionals, just all of them, it's going to be a fun Tuesday for action there.
Yeah. And then softball-wise, we're going to find out here this week who's going to be going to state in Division 1. Kind of some upsets across the board. River Falls is a 9 seed upsetting number 1 Toma, so they're taking on Marshfield, who was a 5 seed that took down number 4 Hudson. And then on the bottom end, a Chi High team that should be no surprise that they're a high seed in softball, taking on number 3 Holman. Not to look too far ahead, but if we get Chippewa Falls versus Marshfield, I'm getting girls basketball flashbacks.
Yeah, I think Chi High always ends up facing Marshfield in some kind of playoff sport. So it's almost like it's inevitable. But they're gonna have their hands full with Holman. Holman's a tough team, so I mean that's gonna be a good matchup there. And just again, we'll see it as we keep going here. The Chippewa County being well represented in these playoffs.
And then Division 2, we got Baldwin Woodville taking on West Salem. My Medford taking on Mosinee.
I would say I watched that Baldwin Woodville team, and I spaced on her name, but the pitcher there, who's just that's going to be a tough team to beat. She could just throw it up there and the riser and everything.
Division 3, kind of the same maybe in baseball. Spooner is a 1 seed taking on number 2 St. Croix Falls. Number 1 Stanley Boyd taking on number 3 Prescott too. So.
Yeah, that Stanley Boyd team, I don't want to say they've come out of nowhere, but that's that team has really grown this season. And to see them battling, get their first Clover Belt title in how many years? I mean, that to me, to wrestle that away from McDonald, which they've been that top team in the Clover Belt. And Fall Creek obviously going to state a couple straight years too. For them to wrestle that title and get it for them shows you just how much they've grown.
Yeah. Division 4, Grantsburg's 1 taking on number 2 Boyceville, and then McDonald Catholic, a number 1 seed, taking on number 2 Augusta.
Yeah, and that is a great matchup. They've played already this year, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than it was that first match. I can't remember the exact final score of it, but yeah, again, Chippewa County there, McDonald, just a team that rises up in the playoffs, and wherever they're seated, they always feel like they have a chance to make it to state, and again, they had a really big win over I think it was Oliva Strum in their last game, and Augusta's been playing well, getting a win over Colfax. So, yeah, I mean, you up and down, and then I know the other side of that D4 is Indy and Blair Taylor battling it. Blair Taylor, number 1 team in the state, team that's been to state so many times as well. I mean, we are blessed to have a lot of these teams that are just perennial, have a chance to go. And then Indy Gilmanton, we saw it in basketball, and well, who knows, make another run here. It's a Dairyland opponent. It's a familiar opponent, so they know each other.
Right.
So you never know. You never know.
Yeah. So there's Division 5 then, right? Did I close it? No, Division 5. We've got Solon Springs or Northwood Solon Springs, and then you mentioned Blair too.
I meant D5, not D4. No. I'm sorry, I had it written down wrong in my schedule.
You're
here,
good.
So.
You're good. So big week there, and then you mentioned a little bit earlier, but we've got like golf going on this week.
Marshfield, River's Edge. That's where D1 is. D3. This is Tuesday, and they'll be at Trempealeau Mountain, and then on Wednesday, D2 goes up to Spooner.
Okay.
So, nice place to be.
Yeah. No
Actually, I'd rather travel north this time of year because it's going to be a little bit cooler than it's going to be around here. And then, and then we go soccer.
Soccer, yeah. Hudson's a 1 seed taking on Chi High. North's a 5 seed. They'll be taking on DC Everest. Memorial's a 3 seed taking on Rapids. You got Superior's a 7 seed. This is all for Division 1.
Yeah, that's also on Tuesday, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you throw all that in, and, quickly with the soccer in D3, I mean, you got a team like Rice Lake that plays all D1 teams.
Yeah.
And now is going down to D3. That is, and they're 1 seed, and they earn that 1 seed. That is going to be a team I would watch. I think they're going to have a good chance of making it to Milwaukee for state there. Altoona Fall Creek in Division II playing, and McDonald Regis also playing in D3. So, yeah, I mean, soccer-wise, we usually have a pretty good somebody from around here makes a run, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Speaking of just Rice Lake here quick, for kind of a switch in basketball too, right? With their boys basketball head coach, he's going to go over to the to coach the girls side too. So that I think that just popped up over the weekend. So
I don't know if that's breaking news to me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kevin
Orr, yeah,
Yep.
Be going over.
Henry. Sorry,
Back to the role
That's
he
my
had.
Kevin Orr. If you know, you know.
Back to the program he originally had when he first came to Rice Lake. So yeah.
And that's been a great program. Obviously, with Shepley going to Wisconsin and Schmidt still there, so he'll have another year. So he'll have a pretty good team lined up there. So that'll be fun to see what they can do.
Absolutely. And then really quick before we take a break, state track and field, it's going to be impossible to highlight everybody and all the teams that are there, but is it one of you and Brandon always kind of talk about, going down to lacrosse and covering that because it's just nonstop action.
Oh, it is. It is it's going to be 90 degrees. Then it's going to rain one of the days. That's almost a given always. And yeah, it is. It's you can't stop, and your head's on a swivel the whole time. You're trying to catch up with everything. I think it's going to be JD and Phillip this year making the run. So I not that again. I've done it many times, but yeah, I'll let the young guys get sunburned.
We got to see if Brandon's going to bring his big hat again.
Oh.
That big old sunshade hat that he has. So
I know I'll be back at some point in the next few years, and I know it's just throwing all the events and then you throw in the weather. It usually is just crazy, and it's just a huge crowd of people too. It's really fun, and they do a really good job hosting it down there.
Absolutely. All right, that's your local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Let's take a quick break. We'll talk some Brewers baseball with JC coming up after these few words. All right, we are back. Let's talk some baseball because I know we're going to take another break before the top of the hour. But trying to play a little catch up here. But
By the way, Milwaukee.
UW
Milwaukee plays today.
Yep.
5 game.
Yep.
Against
Auburn. Be a third time.
Yeah, I was looking at him like, man, that's kind of crazy.
I had to do a double check. I'm like, wait, they just played them and then they lost. They got to play them. Okay.
We got breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Serena Williams.
Oh, yeah, out of retirement.
Coming out of retirement.
She's going to play doubles at this year's Queen's Tournament. So the GOAT is back.
Yes. Hey, man, Martina Navratilova played well into her 40s in doubles. So
yeah,
that's a whole different beast. As a novice tennis player I've become this year, that is a whole different world.
I thought you were going to say that's the Eagles signing former Packers receiver Samari Torre as our breaking news for this morning. So,
one of the it's like you like, oh yeah, he was on the like, the amount of wide receivers they've had run through there in the last 5 years. It's like, man, man.
Do the Eagles really need another one at this point in time?
They're just hoping.
Oh man.
Well, they have one that they have still no one knows what the future is with. So
yeah. Yep. All right. So baseball wise, what a month of May for the Brewers, huh?
Oh my goodness.
Mizorowski completed yesterday. Just a fantastic month. If Sanchez doesn't have just a slightly better month with not giving up an earned run.
What is crazy? Yeah. Like how does those two pitching performances happen in the same month?
I just hope when it's the Brewers and Phillies in the middle of this month that we get a Miz versus Sanchez game. You might not, if you like offense, you might not like that game, but
because we had did him and Skeens face off one time? I think
last year. Yep.
Yeah.
And it got hyped up, and Miz and the Brewers got the better end of that one.
Yeah.
So,
man, I mean, I was thinking about this earlier this morning. Like, this is by far the best a Brewers pitcher has ever come in to their career. Because I was thinking of the guy, like Ben Sheets had a ton of hype. His team stunk that he was on, but he came in winning the Olympic gold and came in, and that was huge. Because the rest of that team was not great.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anybody who's come in like this. People are like, "Oh, Burns won a Cy Young." It's like Burns. People forget, but there was that season where Burns was giving up a home run every other pitch.
Yeah, that first, and then remember the second season he got sent back down,
right.
And then he's kind of the Quinn Priester route right now, where he got back to Arizona and trying to figure it out, and then he became a Cy Young guy.
Gallardo was kind of the guy I was kind of feeling like that, kind of had maintained it. I think got injured. So yeah, this to me has been just a generational run we've seen, and the guy just getting better and better.
The command and control is probably what impresses me the most. Yeah. I mean, I think, what was it, like one or just a couple walks this month either? That's no walks yesterday.
Yeah.
Not giving those free passes. So
there is that nervousness as a guy who throws 103 miles per hour.
It'll always be there, yeah.
Yeah, because, we've seen it with the best. That,
especially a starting pitcher when you're out there for almost 100 pitches.
Is the human body going to be able to maintain that without something? And I'm not, people are probably like, don't talk about it, but I'm like, I'm just saying that is insane. But Nolan Ryan was able to do it and really didn't have any injuries, so it is possible. I'm just saying it scares you because you just think of all these fireball throwers that we've known, and at some point it usually comes back.
Yep.
So knock on wood. He's super young. That All-Star game getting on the team last year now looks totally justified. I don't know if it was last year at that point, but man, oh man, they knew something was coming. And when his post-game interview after his first game last week, where he's like, trusting I can throw it up in the zone at 103.
Yeah.
He knows.
Well, it's like
they can't hit it.
He was yesterday. What do you think about your .23 ERA? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's all right.
Yeah. It's funny because you see him kind of he gets more emotional out there.
And people have a problem with that.
He doesn't get he's not Abner.
Right.
Abner's helped everybody by going over the line.
Yeah.
Abner found the line. You don't go past that.
He just channeled his inner Brett Favre against Coy Detmer and the Eagles back in the 90s.
Oh, the WWE's smiling.
Or the
we're still
D-Generation X.
Yeah, exactly. But man, oh man, when he did, I'm like, oh. I was listening. It's funny because I was listening to the radio. And Levering's like, well, you just did it's a little more than normal, but it's saying for Abner's something. He didn't say what happened.
Yeah.
Then I got back to the station and I'm like, oh, okay, he deserves a fine. He deserves the suspension.
Yeah,
he knows now. Sorry, I don't. That to me just was such a like wow.
Right.
Like we're probably lucky that didn't end up in fisticuffs
Oh, yeah.
at some point. I
Yeah.
feel like 10 years ago,
Well, if Wilson Contreras was still on the Cardinals, that might have.
Tony La Russa was
Tony
still
La Russa,
managing.
Yep.
There
Exactly.
La Russa might have ran out there at him or shuffled slowly out.
Yep. So, yeah. The lights are too bright in Miller Park. Remember that one from Tony La Russa?
He was the perfect just villain for Brewers fans back, especially because I didn't realize they hadn't swept a series at home since 2011.
Yep.
Like that's crazy to go 15 years without having just one of those where we've been 3 in a row at home.
Mm-hmm.
That just shows you how good the Cardinals have been in those stretches and how much they kind of had the Brewers number for a ton of years.
Exactly. So we open up a month. Brewers are 4.5 games above those pesky Cardinals for first place. Still, every team in the division in the NL Central is a winning record, though. So you got 4 games against the Giants, and then you got the Rockies Rockies and then A's, and then you've got that Phillies series too. So
it's they'll have some pretty decent matchups there coming up. That Phillies series, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that should be a good one. But, even really quick, because I know we got to take a break, but Brandon Sproats, and this is kind of something we've talked about with Pat Murphy. He's a guy that, will really embrace his players, has his players' backs, but he's not afraid to give a little tough love.
Right.
And said that after Sproats' latest one, he's like, we're not accepting duds like that again. We're not rebuilding here. So
he knows. He's so good at well, that was like with Miz last year. He would not. You never heard him highly praise.
Yep.
Like he didn't want Miz to get too high on himself, which I don't think is going to happen. But he kept him grounded. And I think he's really good at keeping these guys grounded and not letting them. And he knows what they need to get their motivation. I think that's the other thing. You talk with him, it's just something he knows these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. We got to take a quick break. So we only got about 10 minutes left to the top of the hour here. So we'll do some picks and start to wrap up
Sounds good.
things on this Monday morning. We'll be right back. All right, we got about 6 minutes left to the top, so let's wrap it up with some picks. Not every baseball team is in action tonight, but we've got Detroit taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Break up the Rays right now. Holy moly, he's breaking it all over the place.
Oh, you want to throw that over here quick? Oh, yeah. I'm trying to not malfunction your equipment. It's fine. We're okay. I was so excited about the Tampa Bay Rays. Oh, get me going.
Right?
I'll go Rays because Tigers have been.
They've been awful, man.
What happened to that team?
Griffin Jackson on the mound tonight, too.
Nice. All right. I will remember that when he pitches a no-no.
Yeah, there you go. Miami, Washington. Washington's in second place right now in the NL East. Above Philly.
Sure.
I convinced you. So I'll go Washington, too.
Facts. I'm trying not to destroy your.
You're good.
I'm back.
Kansas City and Cincinnati.
The Reds, last place, but still over 500.
Yep.
Everybody's going to linger in that division. I think there's going to be some good, not just division, but wild card matchups coming up this year. So I'll go Cincinnati.
I'm going to go Cincinnati, too. How about, the White Sox, same record as the Cubs, taking on the Twins.
This Twins team is your stereotypical, hey, we're going to win 5 straight, and then we're going to lose 5 straight. White Sox, I think, took 2 out of 3 from them earlier. So we got 3 out of 4 from them last week. So I'll go White Sox. I'm sorry, Twins fans.
I misspoke.
Oh.
Because the White Sox actually have a better winning percentage than the Cubs right now.
No pressure on Craig Counsell at all.
542 compared to 533. So I just want to be accurate, right? Just want to be accurate. Sorry, Cubs fans. But I'm going with the White Sox. How about Texas, St. Louis? Jacob deGrom for Rangers tonight.
He's been struggling.
Yeah.
I'll go St. Louis.
I'm going to go Cardinals, too. Colorado and the Angels.
Somebody has
to win.
Let's go Colorado so they tie them with 23 wins.
Yep.
Man, oh, man.
I'll go Rockies, too.
The Angels have just been mediocre at best the last. Poor Mike Trout.
I know. Dodgers, Diamondbacks.
Ooh, good matchup. I'm going to go D-backs because I just can't pick the Dodgers.
I'm going to go D-backs, too. It's in Arizona. You got Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for the Diamondbacks. He's having a solid season. So, I'll go with the Diamondbacks. Mets and Mariners.
Oh.
Mariners back in first.
I'll go Mariners.
I'll go Mariners, too. And then Giants versus the Brewers.
Oh, of course. I'm going to go with the Brewers.
Shane Drone.
For some reason, I always seem to have the Brewers number a little bit, too. But
Willie Adames coming back again. So, he's got 8 home runs so far this year.
I was still with this team that's not 13 games below 500.
So, all right, those are your picks. Before I let you go, since you won't be here later on this week, give me your finals picks for both Stanley Cup and the NBA. So you got Carolina versus the Vegas Golden Knights. And then the rematch of the 99 strike-shortened NBA season. The A-seeded Knicks versus the young Tim Duncan, David Robinson Spurs teams.
Let's start with Stanley Cup. I don't like either of these teams, but I think I don't like Vegas more. So I'll go Carolina. It's just tough because, like of all the teams I would be cheering for, neither of those are teams I would. So, but the way Vegas is kind of, torts, not like they're snubbing the media and all that stuff that came out about Vegas. I'm going to go with the Canes.
And then Knicks, Spurs. You got the
Spurs. Yeah. I love the Spurs. I've always liked that organization, even before Popovich, back when it was Larry Brown and David Robinson there. It's just been one of those teams that's always been like kind of a B team. Back when I was a kid, it was the Celtics were my A team, but
nice.
The Bucks game when I moved to
Wisconsin.
But I love the way the Spurs do and the way they kind of have kept Pop out there in their minds and when they're playing. I would love to see if Wemby can get it done. But the NBA probably wants New York to finally.
Well, that's like you got the iconic brand with the Knicks that finally is back versus the world superstar of Victor Wembanyama.
It's a good matchup for the NBA. They got their biggest media market, and then you have their biggest worldwide star coming up here. So it's going to be fun to watch on NBC, I believe, or is it ESPN? I should know this.
I hope it's on NBC because that's when the '99 one was.
It was, yeah.
What's let me double check.
I don't know how the media rights work.
It is. Oh, that doesn't help me. It didn't tell me at all right there.
As a person who works for an NBC station, it's kind of embarrassing for me, but I'm kind of hyper focused on the local.
Yeah.
Right now.
It is okay. Exclusively on ABC. So,
okay.
yeah.
I wonder if they flip flop kind of year by year. So.
Darn it.
Yeah. Well, it means I'll be going on time.
Yeah.
So we got that at least.
There you go. So, all right, 30 seconds left. So, best of luck this week.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work. I know you guys are busy, but you guys do a fantastic job. So, keep up all the good work and covering everybody.
Oh, I got to just give a shout out to the crew, JD and Phillip and Dwayne as well. Just run out there and do as much as they can. So I appreciate it.
We'll put on some sunscreen.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Yeah,
we'll do.
All right.
Sunscreen.
Have a good day, everybody. Same place, same time. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Talk to you then.